remember you?
Will you remember me?
For only $3 a month, you, loyal listener, can sponsor a sober podcaster. You can have access to our Patreon feed. Okay, guys. You can have access to our Patreon feed at patreon.com/worstpeople, WORSE. Every month, you'll get a mental health episode, which is us covering a movie that we like, a good movie. You'll get a newsletter talking about what's coming up and things that are going on with the show. You get access to archived episodes, and we have some other things in the works, including early access to Jack and I's Star Wars podcast, Han Took Shots First, and I have a couple other ideas in the ether.
Hopper.
Yeah.
In the mix.
So, I mean, for only $3 a month, you can help fight sobriety.
Yes. For just $3 a month, you can make sure that we have beers.
No podcaster left sober. That's my initiative, and I'm taking it across the country.
And it will be every month, without fail. You will get an extra episode. And like I said, there will be more benefits to you. So please check it out. Patreon.com/worstpeople. Welcome back. This week we discussed 1986's Voyage of the Rock. Wait, we did that.
What did I just watch?
This is 1984's Hard Rock Zombies.
Ooh.
I'm Derek.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Jack.
This is Bad Movies,
Worst People.
See, I can't sing right now because my shit's all fucked up. Cassie.
Oh, man, you could almost do some Tom Waits.
Singing and drinking gin.
Yeah. You got to get really sick to sing Tom Waits.
Tom Waits' song came on at work, and I walked over to a customer, and I was like, does this song smell like gin to you?
Did they get it?
No.
You can smell it.
Welcome back, everybody. This is, like I said, 1984's Hard Rock Zombies. Rated R, maybe? Or
It's got to be
NC-17.
rated at least R.
Well, so the cut we watched, released by Vinegar Syndrome, who still isn't paying me, does have stuff added back in, but apparently the original cut with the gore we saw that was added in was still rated R.
Okay.
So I was like,
Because
well,
of
what's
nipples.
We also saw a little dick. Like, I'm not saying like a small amount of dick. I'm saying we saw a little dick.
A little side dick.
A little side butt.
I missed the dick. I was
Not
looking
much.
at a shit stain on a butt.
Alleged shit stain on a butt.
It was
Allegedly.
slightly less dick than you get in Wild Things.
No, Wild Things has
It
Kevin's
was
bacon.
way more dick.
It's barely.
Kevin's
it's a
got-
flash. It's a flash of the flash.
I have it imprinted in my brain
Oh, I'm
that
sorry.
I'm like,
that's because it touches
hi,
his
Mr.
knees.
Bacon.
I'm comparing size.
That's because it touches his knees.
Yes.
This is still almost as much dick as you saw in that movie.
The amount of
like this.
screen time the dick had, yes.
Yeah.
there's
But
a
this
reason
dude-
why his wife's still married to him.
Yeah, this dude, Kevin Bacon's hanging rope. This dude's toting Tic Tac.
Well, I mean, you could see it past that bush, so there's
Maybe
something
that's why it
there.
looks so small.
Yeah.
Them trees are
Oh,
big.
yeah, because Kevin's was shaved.
Yeah. Or at least
Yeah.
trimmed like a
We
gentleman.
should do that movie.
Oh, I've done it.
Anyway, this movie was made in it came out in 1984. I don't know when it was made. Probably a couple years earlier. That's how these things work.
Well, it was made for...
So it was originally
kind of.
started as it was supposed to be just 20 minutes of footage as a like fake film to go inside of another film directed by this same director,
American
Krishna Shaw.
Drive-In. Oh,
yeah,
sorry, you were
American
saying the
Drive-In.
name.
Yeah, the director Krishna Shaw was making American Drive-In, and so he shot a bunch of little things to play at the drive-in, and this was supposed to be one of them. But apparently, while they were doing it, they were like, "This seems like it should be a full-length movie."
Which, I'm not going to complain, but who had that thought?
I don't know.
Like, as much as I might have enjoyed this or might not have, we'll save it. It's not a traditional instant recipe for success.
They got it to 94 minutes, and I told you guys when we started, I was like, all right, buckle in for about 50 minutes of a story,
Yeah.
and then 44 minutes of music video.
I was forewarned. And I don't know about you, it felt longer. There was times it dragged.
Definitely.
And maybe because sometimes the song is 3 lines over and over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're playing a song, but it's like that. It's Voyage Rock Aliens. Justine.
Yeah.
Just over and over. Like, man, you got to have more than 3 words.
He pretty much just had choruses.
Yes.
There was points where I think the problem too, though, there was spots that you reach where you're like, okay, this seems like the conclusion of the movie, but then the next movie starts.
Uh-huh.
So it starts to feel like, wait, the movie's didn't it just end?
Yeah,
but
we wrapped
then
up
you're like,
kinda.
oh wait, actually nothing was wrapped up. It just felt like it ended.
Uh-huh.
So it's like it has to go through whatever. I've watched this movie twice in a week.
That's a lot.
Well, because I watched it and then I was like, I have to watch this with other people because there's a twist in this movie
See,
that I couldn't discuss without.
And Jack ruined himself on that twist.
yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I was going
he
to say that this
IMDb'd
is
it.
the problem with you run the risk of when you research for this podcast, like, fuck, that's a terrible movie that made a great episode. I have to watch it again.
Good
Well,
thing he does the research.
Yeah, no shit, right?
That's the thing is I own this and I watched it and I was like, that was, well, I'm going to say it up front. That was awesome. We should do this for the podcast. I guess I'm going to watch this a few more times because I own it.
Yeah.
It's in a bundle with another movie called Slaughterhouse Rock.
So I'm just going to say now about the twist. If you're interested at all about being really pleasantly shocked about where a movie can go,
Stop listening.
stop listening now and join back as soon as you're done. That being said, I also ruined it by going through IMDb and seeing a name that I was like, well, how the fuck do you connect those dots?
It's a twist. Like
So-
comes out of fucking.
that's
My
been
mouth
said.
dropped.
That's
this
been
movie-
said now.
This movie is available. If you do want to go watch it, you can watch it on AMC Plus or Shudder. Which AMC Plus I think has all the Shudder stuff.
I think that's
so
the
it's
same-
like a
same.
bundle. So you can watch it. So stop this, go watch it, come back and finish listening, or don't. We already got your download. But I'd prefer
Gotcha.
if you did. I'm not just here for downloads. I'm here for entertainment.
Yeah.
If I was just here for downloads, I would have quit by now.
I'm here for a good time and a long time.
Analog.
And a long time.
Analog time.
That's what I say my vape does. Analog time.
So
Took a second on that.
I'm not really gonna
Yes,
go. I'm not gonna go through the actors up front like I usually would because they're not people.
You
I mean,
won't
they are
recognize-
people, but they're not actors.
Yeah. They're not IMDb people.
No, I will go
I'm
over
people.
some of them when we get to them because they've been in some fun movies, like fun sounding movies. Or
Uh-huh.
one of them has just his characters that he's played have great names. So we'll just get to that. But
Okay.
this movie does have one person people will recognize, Phil Fondacaro, which you might not know his name, but we've talked about him multiple times. He is
This is
a
like
little
the fourth
person,
time on this show now?
I think he was definitely in a recent. He
It's
was
at
in Dungeon
least
Master.
it's at least third time.
Yeah, he's in Dungeon Master, which we just did in February.
And he's
So-
going to make an appearance on the Renegade podcast.
He's going to make an appearance in most movies.
Sign up
from
for
the 80s.
Patreon.
But he's
No, that'll be separate.
he's a little person. He's very recognizable. Because he was one of those guys that was in every 80s movie. He's
Mm-hmm.
in Willow. I don't remember what his character's name is anymore.
I want to say Von Carr.
But he lives in Willow's town with the other.
Go on.
They're not hobbits,
No, they're not.
but it's like a community of small people.
Nelwins.
Nelwins. I'm like, it's their race. I just don't know what the.
And they're not small people compared to the brownies. They're huge.
That's
Yeah.
fair. The brownies are really small, but they're not people.
Oh,
They're just little
man.
fairy monsters. But yeah, Phil Fondacaro does make an appearance in this, so that's fun. So the movie starts with a hitchhiking hottie, Elsa. I think is her name.
Yeah,
ends up being.
Elsa. Lisa Toothman is
Which-
the actress's name.
I think we only got Elsa from the subtitles. I don't think they said it a single time in this movie.
I'm
I
gonna-
don't know.
I'm going to agree with them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about her sexy outfit, though, because hands down, she is a smoke show. Like, she is a hot 80s fucking bombshell.
Yes.
This outfit, though, is as if you cut up one of my 2XL t-shirts
And made
into
it
a
a top
top
and a
and a
skirt?
bottom. Yeah, exactly. And tied it up all sexy around the sides. Like, it's shirt wear, but it's delightful.
It's very delightful.
I know that if I pick up this chick, I'm dead, and I'm still doing it.
Yes.
Like, my life is going to be worse off if I don't pick her up.
And the hitchhikers that pick her up, they're in a convertible and it's two guys.
Yeah, I think it's Camaro or Mustang. I didn't pay too much attention.
And she just slides right in between the two of them and then plays with their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's getting right into it. And I was about to say, this reminds me of another movie we did, but it's not a movie we did. It's just a movie I watched called Auntie Lee's Meat Pies.
Yeah, I've never
Where
seen that.
Sexy hitchhikers pick up people and then they kill them and turn them into meat pies.
I thought there was going to be some eating of flesh going
Yeah.
on
Same.
there. It felt cannibalistic.
Yeah. So that movie stars Karen Black, who's a big schlocky movie person.
You won't catch
guys
me caring about that.
you guys will recognize her when we watch it. We will. But anyway, so they pick this girl up.
You'll see.
And she takes them to this lake. So first she's like, let's go to my house. Oh, no, that's later.
No, that's
I'm
yeah.
so confused already.
She
Okay,
takes them
so-
to
She
the
takes
lake.
them to a lake and they go swimming. Not just swimming. skinny dipping.
Skinny dipping.
Yeah, she drops everything. I almost didn't see underwear at first, but it was blending in with her tan line. She's
Yes.
wearing just like the skimpiest little thong.
Yeah.
And the dude is wearing a full bush. I think he put a merkin on top of his pubes.
Yeah,
I
there's
had to
a
have
lot
been.
of bush.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I need to assert my dominance crotch-wise.
I'm gonna assert my dominance.
I'm going to insert my dominance.
But he's scrambling to get naked to get in the water.
Oh, he
with her.
can't wait for this.
And across the lake, we have tall guy whose name I never got.
Creeper taking pictures.
Yeah, he's just he's a weirdo.
Creepy McPix.
He's taking pictures.
And he's got two little people with him.
Yeah, two little people. Phil Fondacaro is one of them, and then another guy who, in my notes, I just have mutant written down.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
eventually they
goblin
gave him a
mask.
name, Bucky.
Oh, they do give subtitles. Give him
So
one
he
at
was
least.
he was friends with Captain America.
This is what happened to him.
Things went real downhill.
This isn't the Prime Earth, is it?
No, this is like Earth 663.
This is what if.
Yeah.
What if Bucky went to a sex castle?
But yeah, so she's swimming around with this guy, and he goes underwater, and she just holds him down and starts drowning him.
For a second, it's playful.
Yeah.
And I think this is why I said like blood starts coming up.
And I'm like, is her vagina eating him?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
What is going on? I think it's literally to show you death and not playful.
Yeah. 'Cause at first, I was thinking like maybe she's like gouging his eyes out or something. But when him and the friend who also gets drowned are on the side of the lake here in a minute, and these guys brought plastic with them to wrap these bodies in because
Yeah.
they're professionals. But the plastic has blood on it, and the plastic is by their waists. So I'm like, did she shove him underwater and tear off his dick? I don't know what just happened.
Maybe.
They didn't show us that.
But
I need to see her throwing a raw bratwurst across the.
Come on, it's a Vienna sausage.
Her
at best.
vagina ate it, is what I'm saying.
We've all eaten little
She
smokies.
has vagina dentata. I've seen
Still
that
never
movie
seen
too.
that
That's the teeth. The teeth. Yeah.
definitely not an episode. That movie is so boring.
Oh, is it?
It's the most exciting part of that movie is the premise. And then there's also a shot in the movie. So mostly it's her. Everybody in this girl's life wants to rape her. And there's a shot in this movie, like even her gyno and everything. It's just terrible. There's a shot in the movie, though, where some guy's trying to have sex with her. It bites it off. She stands up, and it's a silhouette of her, like, against the wall. And you just see a dick drop from between her legs.
Dope.
In the shadows.
So I can just find that scene.
Best shot of the movie.
I could just find that scene and
You
be happy.
enjoy the movie Rubber, and you said a vagina with teeth is a boring movie?
It's a boring movie. Nothing happens.
Rubber's
It's
So they
boring.
did a terrible job making it.
Rubber is a piece of cinematic mastery.
Yes. Teeth is like
I hope you can hear her look.
Teeth is like the Human Centipede, where like you hear it and you're like, what a wacky idea. That could be a crazy movie. And then the execution is just like,
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Let's
On
do it.
paper, it's a good idea.
Let's fucking film it.
wait,
Yeah, we are gonna film it.
we're going to film it?
Yeah.
I don't want your vagina to bite my dick off.
No.
No, we'll get a stunt giant.
I
Stunt
didn't say
giant.
I would
Stunt
be.
giant.
I would not be the main character.
Stunt giant.
Let's have Amber be the main character.
Stunt guy. Short for gynecologist.
Oh, her gynecologist gets his fingers ripped off.
I know you
Because
told me
he
everything.
starts with 1 and then he goes to like 4 and then it bites his hand off. Anyway,
well,
different movie.
You know, you had that coming, and I ain't talking about the gyno.
So the dudes come over with the dead bodies and they're like just fucking with dead bodies basically. And this girl pulls out, it looks like a whip.
I thought it was a cane.
Yeah.
It looked like a whip to me.
Yeah, like
Okay,
it
a
has,
riding
like, the
crop.
handle.
It's a
Yes,
riding crop.
A riding crop.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. That's what it looks like, kind of. And like a knife comes out of the handle, and she cuts off this dude's hand, and then starts singing, "I wanna hold your hand," and like rubbing it on.
It's
rubbing it
supposed
on
to be
herself.
creepy,
sound
but it's
just
fucking
like her.
funny.
I wanna rub. My voice is still fucked up. I've been sick for like 8 years now. Feels like.
I feel like I've been sick for like 20.
And then we cut to the band, who are the main characters of the movie.
Did you get the band name?
The
Holy
band-
Moses.
Holy Moses.
Holy
yes.
Moses.
Holy Moses. Maybe that's what someone said when they read the script. And he's like, great band name. I'll use
Yep,
it.
that's the band name.
So you have Jesse's the lead singer.
Who looks,
Jesse.
I mean, he looks like he is proto Bon Jovi, may we say?
So he's played by a guy. In this movie, he's credited as E.J. Curcio. His name became E.J. Curse. He was the bass player for
Yes.
a band called Silent Rage. So he's a real musician, in hard quotes.
I mean, they have some, so he has some accolades to tell you about in the bonus features.
Oh, yeah. I made these guys watch the hour-long comment or bonus interview thing afterward because it makes these characters so much better.
Okay.
It does.
So, yeah, Derek pitched it. watched the hour-long thing, and he said it will probably make it a little bit better, a little more rich.
Yeah.
And you're not wrong. I don't think we should have watched it before, because that would be...
It even says at the beginning, like, there's spoilers here.
Yeah. So not that this movie has like anything except for one spoiler you give a shit about. The rest doesn't matter. But it did make it funner to see these guys in like just being who they are instead of the actors. And it does make it more rich, especially for a character we haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I also will say, usually when it comes to twists up front, we're just like, this is what it is, so we can talk about it. But I'm waiting
I want to milk this.
because this is great. But this guy, EJ Curse,
I got
so he's
nipples.
been in a few other things. I didn't recognize any of the shows or movies he was in, except for he's in one episode of Bones. But I wrote down the characters he played because he's only been in like 4 or 5 other things.
Go on.
So in one movie, he played a character named Gigolo James.
Love it.
In another movie, he played a character just named Hunk.
Ooh.
He played a character named Guy. I don't think that's his
Who
name.
is
I think
this?
he's Jesse, the main singer. the
Oh,
main guy.
really?
Yeah.
And then in Bones, he was in one episode, and his character's name was Springsteen Wannabe.
That's great.
I think
So this movie kind of made him think like I can act. Like I'm a sexy, and he's a good looking dude, but can he act? No. And the roles that you just read to me proved it. Because only one of those was actually a name, and it was Gigolo James. The rest are all just descriptors of what you are.
And
I'm
there's-
fairly certain I know the Bones one. I love
I kind of
Bones.
wondered. I kind of wondered
It
if
was
you would.
it was
'cause
an
if you
earlier
watch
one.
it-
So Bones, I think the thing said it started in 2005, and his episode was like 2007. So it was like an early one. But
Yeah,
But when you
oh,
watch
yeah.
things as often as we do, like myself with Cheers and myriad of other shows, I'm like, oh my god, I know that guy from episode 8 of season 3.
Well, I've
and
only
he
watched
has
Bones
2
twice.
lines. Oh, really?
That's a lot for her, though.
Fuck,
She does one time,
amateur.
and she's out.
But you also remember names and shit more.
Yeah. Well, I
A
was gonna
lot
go
more.
through all the band members' names.
Go
Well,
on.
we're working on it. He's one of the 2 that actually has other.
No, let her
performance
flex
roles,
her
so.
her name muscle.
All right, go for the band names, and then I'll tell you who played them.
So you have Jesse as the bassist.
Singer.
Oh, well, and
Both.
bassist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bass
both.
singer.
Chuck is the drummer, played by.
Sam Mann, my
Is
favorite.
It Robbie?
By the way.
Is it Robbie or Bobby?
Yes. The subtitles said Bobby throughout the whole movie,
But everybody.
But the cross.
but then the cross when he's buried later on, spoiler alert, says Robbie.
Oh no!
he's
The Hard Rock Zombies die at some point. Oh no! I hope he comes back.
Somehow Bobby came back.
He's
Somehow,
the
Holy
he's the
Moses came
keyboard and backup guitar.
Yeah, he does. He does Los Dos.
Yes.
And then Tommy, the blonde boy, who was supposed to be the lead, which he's
He's very upset
He's
about
a
it.
little bit bitter about the
He
behind
was
the
a little bit bitter, yeah,
scenes.
because in the behind the scenes, he's like, I was supposed to be the lead. And
I
they
was
chose
the only
this
one
guy.
with
But he
acting
did say-
He
experience.
said he was a real actor, but then he's like, then I saw him and I'm like, oh, it's because he's hot, pff, whatever.
Yeah.
But then he's like, then I saw the movie and I was like, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. No, I think he said like once he saw the
script.
the main guy.
Oh.
Like once he actually saw him, was like, well, yeah, that's your lead.
Well, and it still made him. He was still bitter at that point though, because he's like, oh, of course, because he's the hot one, whatever.
Uh-huh.
But then he got to, I saw the movie or I saw the script, and I was like, oh, I don't need to be the lead. That's fine. So Tommy was played by Gino Andrews. He was the bitter one. He hasn't done anything. Robbie was the keyboard
keyboardist. Yeah.
guitarist. He's played by a guy named Mick McMains, or
to be more Irish.
right, or I think it was probably a stage name back in the day because it had 2 names for him.
Yeah.
McManz, Mick, and then MANZ.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But I did like during the interviews, the guy who plays their manager is like, I really liked Mike, and then he looks at his notes and he's like, Mick.
Dude, yeah, we became best friends, me and that Mike. Nobody was named Mike. Mick was my best friend. Mick.
The only other actor, or the only other of these people who was in anything else though was Sam Mann, who played the drummer and is my
Mr.
favorite.
Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him a drummer that I've never seen.
And by the way, before I get to the other movies he was in real quick, this guy looks exactly like my next door neighbors when I was growing up. Their stepdad.
You live next to D. Snyder?
As a younger version, he looks more like their dad, their stepdad.
Okay.
But even the older one looks kind of like their stepdad. Like he was like their stepdad was in between the 2 ages we saw this guy.
Gotcha.
So like, because in the first one he's like 20 something, and in the later ones he would be almost 60 now.
Yeah.
So in between there, like that's when I knew their stepdad, and he was probably in his late 30s. And I was like, and he's a former musician, and he's kind of a self-absorbed asshole, and like, but in a funny way.
I mean, you
Like,
can
he's-
kind of tell with this guy, like watching the lip syncing and all that. Everybody else is doing a pretty good job. He's like kicking over his drums and twisting his drumstick and not playing
And they said
on time at all.
And they said in the behind the scenes that he improvised every scene. Like he never gave a fuck.
Well, he said that he never got a script.
I loved that.
There
dude.
may have been a piece of paper, but I don't know.
Yeah, they're all like, no. One person's like, yeah, they were doing rewrites every day. One person's like, no, I had a script from the beginning. And he's like, we didn't get a script.
I don't remember no script. Maybe notes.
You know what though? Those things might all be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this
The way-
production.
with this production, yeah. But Sam Mann was in at least 3 other movies. I think he was in a couple, but I wrote down these 3 because they're clearly related. If they're not, they should be. But he was in a movie just called Rollerblade,
Okay.
which also has a bunch of people on it that look like 80s glam rock people, like
Yeah.
these guys. He was in a movie called Rollerblade Warriors, Taken by Force,
I'm looking for that one, by the way.
because that had the girl from Renegade.
Yeah, Cheyenne from Renegade's like the fucking first build in that movie. You know I'm onto it now.
Now that just begs the question, is she the main character or is she first billed because she's the only one who's an actress?
Yes.
Okay. And then he was in another movie called The Rollerblade 7, which
So-
I imagine is a part of that series, but it's like their version of the Magnificent Seven.
We're rolling into town. I hope we get to see him on some inlines. Like, I would love for him to, like, that's why you got the jobs in all these rollerblade movies, is because you can actually rollerblade.
Yeah, and you know,
That would make me so happy to see this guy in a set of TRS Lightnings.
I couldn't find at least the one we were looking for on like streaming stuff right now, but I'm going to do a little bit of looking. I'm going to find at least one of these movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed this dude. He was fun. He's not a good actor and whatever, but like
He's fun.
he was my favorite of the band.
I agree.
The least rapey, even though in real life probably the most rapey.
I don't know. He definitely had things to say about the nude shower scene.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. In real life,
Well,
probably the most rapey.
he said, I'm
But-
not going to rape you.
Yeah, no, he said, I'm not going to sleep with you. I'm not going to try to have sex with you. He was trying to give her all the control.
Yeah, I loved it. I'm not going to try to have sex with you. I mean, unless you want to. But like whatever makes you happy. But she was naked, so I was happy.
I mean, he's an appreciator of a hot nude body.
And she was a hot nude
She's
body.
a hot nude body.
Tight.
So the first
like a
song we
toy
get
girl.
from the band, are they performing when we first see them, or are they in the van?
Performing.
Okay.
Performing, because you
Because
have
they're
everybody
doing
just
shake,
kind of an
shake,
introduction to
shake
everybody.
it out,
Oh
baby.
yeah.
Yeah. And Tommy, the blonde one, bends down and like kisses some lady in the audience and then has flour in his mouth.
She gives him a rose.
And
Because
again,
he is
I
not
don't,
the one.
I don't have
Roses
her
are
name in
gross.
front of me because I didn't write it down because I'm an asshole. But that lady also had her own interview segment on the Blu-ray that I didn't make you guys watch. And she was
You didn't
apparently
let us.
we can watch it after. She was apparently so she was like discovered because of this movie. So the guy who did all the music
I
for
didn't
this,
even see her.
she was in like
Oh,
that and one other shot in the audience. That's
Yeah,
it.
blink and you miss
But
it.
Paul
Okay.
Sabu, who was a musician, mostly a songwriter, it seems like he wrote music for other people.
Little
and produced.
producer.
But he met her and she played him some music or something. And basically she had like a girl glam rock group that he like produced and they put out records. And like, so being on Hard Rock Zombies gave her a music career as well.
Dope.
Like she got a whole interview and I was like, I don't know who this is. I hit play and she's like, yeah, I was this. And they showed the 2 shots she's in. And I
Zero
was like,
lines.
you have an interview on this Blu-ray and you're in 2 shots?
Yeah.
You know who's not on this interview in this Blu-ray? Fucking half the people. Elsa.
Well, a lot of them are probably dead. or
Elsa
don't
wasn't
care.
on it.
Or trying to escape it. Like, nope, I
Yeah.
wasn't on that movie.
Or like someone like Elsa is probably an actress who was in like 4 movies and then was like, I don't want anything to do with this. And she went and had like a life
did porn
with
instead.
kids and like a family. And
You
she's
guys
like,
went very opposite there. Either
I've
went off
seen
and
it-
did porn, no, had kids.
I've
mean,
seen it.
porn,
I've
right?
seen it in a lot of these old movies I watch, especially from like Vinegar Syndrome, where it's like interviews with people who are like, yeah, no, I did movies for about 7 years. And then I was like, fuck that. And I went and had a family and got a career because I realized I was never going to make a living.
I mean,
You
speaking
know.
on how hot she is, she probably didn't have a fucking good Hollywood time. You know,
No,
it might not
yeah.
have been for her.
And based on what we're seeing in this movie, I don't know, because she's mostly just being sexy. And
I swear
dancing.
she was like a
probably
backup
treated
dancer.
not great
Oh,
by a lot of
probably.
people in the
That's
back. in the
that's kind of my
behind the scenes.
assumption.
Yeah, exactly. So.
But I mean, she does look like she's doing a music video.
Yeah.
There's a point in this where she's out of this movie as far as dialogue and anything that's not dancing
Yeah,
in the
she
street
is.
by herself.
she is a dancing
siren.
zombie for half this movie, and part of that half is before she becomes a zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, But yes, the Shake, Shake, Shake It Out Baby song, which again is one of those songs you were saying, like it only has the one, like, it has the chorus, but I can't get it out of my fucking head.
Yeah.
Like it's just a chorus, and all I can think for the last week is shake, shake, shake it out, baby.
It's a pretty fucking rockin' song. And you're talking to a guy that doesn't really give a shit about musicals, but if you're doing a musical, the songs have to be good.
Yeah.
And this was.
And this is a musical in the sense, it's like Voyage of the Rock Aliens or Miami Connection, where it's like the music has to do with the people in the story, but it's not songs about the movie. Although Voyage of the Rock Aliens had a little bit more, because like
sometimes
Pia Zadora did that song about the guy from Nightbreed when they were in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And it's about him.
And the actress, I can't remember her name now, but her friend was just like, that didn't answer my question. After a whole song.
You didn't answer my question
You
at
could
all.
have said no.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know, like Voyage was not planned as anything it came out to be, which, see previous episode for a deep dive on that.
Yes.
That was not supposed to be a musical, but then it became a horror, and then it became this.
One of these days we'll redo it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe for an anniversary of sorts.
Our 100th episode.
And many more.
That's this year.
Yeah.
No, we got to wait longer. Go on.
Because unlike other podcasts, we release at least 52 a year. That might stop at some point. Right now, we're doing it. We don't take breaks. I was like, let's take a break. And then we just did small episodes.
Which are small episodes, like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, we did a short episode. It was only 95 minutes.
Where do you listen to the Star Wars one?
Oh, good God. So there are some people sitting at the bar. So we end up finding out later, at least one of these guys is Red. There's these three guys who run this town the movie takes place in. Ed, Ted, and Red.
Yep.
And then there's a sheriff whose name I never got. Sheriff.
Doesn't matter. He's a fucking shit character and a worse actor.
Yeah, the character was whatever, but once we watched the interviews, I'm like, man, fuck that guy.
This guy was embarrassed to be in this movie, which is one thing, but then you're trying to also kind of milk a little fame out of being in
he's
this
still
movie.
taking the paycheck for doing the behind the scenes.
He just acted better. I'm better than everybody here. I'm beyond this movie.
I'm a poet.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a published poet. Also, I'm a poet.
Also, I write poetry.
Did you know I'm a
Fucking
painter?
get published, asshole.
Oh, he's a painter. He also does some gardening. He's a
polite
radical, and he writes scribes on Facebook to make people mad.
And he gets
I hate
amusement
him.
out of that.
I hate him.
I made the comment, I want to stab him in his eye with his own dick.
He'd still be able to
Imagine that yourself. How I would do it. I know exactly how I do it, but I want to know what you guys think.
You're going to
I would
sharpen
do.
his dick, dude?
It's gonna be like the scene from Batman or the Dark Knight.
Whoa, what
right?
Batman did you watch?
The Dark Knight, where Heath Ledger is like, I'm gonna make this pencil disappear, right? And she's gonna do it with his dick, so she's gonna get his dick hard and then just smash his head down onto his own
your dick disappear? Ta-da!
right into his eye.
He's the vagina. I'm going to vagina him. Vagina teeth him.
I'm gonna vagina him. It's a real weird saying.
You isolate that and you make it I'm gonna vagina him. I'm gonna vagina him. Oh, Whitney's calling. I'm gonna vagina him.
Vagina dentata, I think is what you're looking for.
Yes.
But anyway, so they're all in this bar also while these guys are performing, and they're like, "This isn't music." What one of the guys says, "What is it? It's a cow dying in shit."
Who?
What?
No, he says who?
No. I know. One guy says who. The next guy says what.
Oh, okay.
And then it goes back to cow dying and shit.
Read it again.
Let's try it again.
He says, it's a cow dying and shit.
Who?
What?
A cow dying and shit. Like that's a thing that I'm supposed to know.
It's a dropped joke, by the way, because somebody else, I think the drummer, says who again when it's supposed to be what.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it at first. Like just, who?
Oh, that's
and
right.
I'm assuming the guys at the bar, because it was dark and it was hard to see. I'm assuming, and Red's easy to recognize because he's 8.5 feet tall.
Yes, he is.
But I think it had to have been Ed, Ted, and Red with the sheriff, because when they're in charge of the town meeting later, it's a whole nother like who's on first
Oh
or
my God.
Three Stooges kind of like
Three
farce.
Stooges, what I thought of.
Red
Yeah.
has to stand up every time. Like,
He's like,
They're
just
very
so you know, I'm tall.
They're very by the book here.
That's a pretty funny scene, but we'll
It
get
is.
there in a minute.
It is.
Then we cut to after the concert. They're all in their underwear.
Oh, no. I don't think they're in their
Ooh.
underwear. I think they're in groupies' underwear. Every one of these dudes is wearing like a female sexy cut of
except
underwear.
for Jesse. Jesse
What was
is
Jesse
wearing
wearing,
whitey
like,
tighties.
tighty-whities?
Oh, okay.
Sam Mann is wearing a yellow fucking banana hammock, which is like the most literal definition of
Somebody's
banana
wearing
hammock.
pink, and
Yes,
that's why I didn't
Tommy.
notice Jesse, because somebody's wearing a pink. I don't know. It's like a fucking hip cut. It's not quite a thong. It's like bikini cut full butt.
Yes, it's the high bikini.
Well, one of the
Yeah.
guys mentioned in the interviews that they wore their own like their stage
Yeah.
gear. So I'm wondering, do they also wear their own underwear? Like, or
You
is this set
betcha.
stuff? So that's just what they showed up in. He's like, by the way, today we're doing the underwear scene, and they're like, fuck.
No, Sam Mann was
Well,
like,
Sam Mann did it
"Fuck
on purpose."
yeah."
Yes, 1,000%.
We're
He
doing
knew.
what
He's
scene?
like, wait, today's underwear scene? Shit, I'll be right back. Let me run to my car. He had him in his car.
He's got just like a, you know how I love a reveal of guns behind like panels? It's just banana hammocks. He's like,
Oh, by the way, I said he ran to his car. It's a van.
yeah, it's a van for sure.
It's a van with like airbrushed like wizard and like a unicorn and a dragon.
How else is he gonna carry? You know, a B flat cornet, a trumpet, a guitar, drum kit.
This guy
Drum
plays
sets
them all.
alone you need a van for.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy plays all the instruments. And then the manager, who is Ron.
Ron. Yeah, Rob is
Played-
in the band.
Yeah, Ron, played by a guy named Ted Wells, who did other stuff, but I didn't recognize anything, and it wasn't funny like the other guys, so I didn't write
Yeah.
it down. He's their band manager.
He's the actor in this movie.
yeah, he's the actor.
Actor!
That he has the monologue that we'll get to that I was like, dope.
Well,
Yeah.
he's got two, kind of, because this scene is kind of a monologue too, because he's going off on a rant about like, you know, I did all this work to get you guys to do this. He's trying to get them, like, girls
What do
want to
they-
come in, groupies, girls want to come in and get autographs, and he wants to take photos.
Jesse wants nothing to do
Okay,
with
because
it.
I was
Yeah.
confused because someone says like I'm a fucking rock star. I'm not a group counselor, and I didn't know what that meant. And now it makes sense because they let in all these girls, and they're all supposed to be underage.
Yeah.
From a line that we get where he says,
I've got it
You
written
have
down.
it. Written- Go ahead, hit me.
Sign those nubile underage tits.
Ew.
What the fuck?
And she, dude, like all of us
She
were
opens
kind
her
of like
shirt.
holding our breath because she opens her shirt. Luckily, there's a bra.
Yes.
But you didn't know how that was going to go for a hot little second. You're like, don't say nubile underage breasts and then show them. It's not cool.
fuck-
Excuse me, it was
Fucking 80s.
tits, because
Tits.
it's worse.
Oh, sorry. 80s tits. Tits. Love them tits. Underage tits. Big tits.
What was that? Was it Miller that had the commercial that was like about being a man, and it's like football and boobs and twins? Was it?
Dude, that's, I don't know. We got to find that so I can
All right, we'll
see it.
Google it.
Yeah.
Either
way.
That could be a fever dream.
No, it was real. I promise.
Do you remember the penguins?
Yeah. Who did-
Doobie doobie doo.
So they get warned.
He doesn't.
I have no idea what you're talking about. They
See,
get
I'm not crazy.
or they Jesse gets warned. Jesse gets warned by a girl who comes to visit, who ends up being a major quote unquote character.
Yeah, sure.
She is very important. She
Yeah.
is not a character. This girl Cassie.
Her
who
and her
I don't
eyebrows.
have any of her stuff about. God, dude, this girl's eyebrows.
Okay.
Think Brooke Shields back in the 80s, less groomed.
Think Rachel Weisz from The Mummy, double it.
Oh.
Think Eugene Levy
Yeah.
with a
Yeah.
curly wig.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
thick, and
They
you know,
are.
hey, you know, you do you, whatever, if it works. But like, it's a lot.
So there's a lot of this movie that reminds me of bad lip reading, like the YouTube shit. And
I love
hers
that
reminds
shit.
me of the Yoda. Like, she's just, don't fall asleep. Because she looks at him, she's like, you're supposed to go to the town. Don't go there.
Yeah,
Why
she's
not?
supposed to be creepy.
Don't go.
And that's the problem is here and then
She was
later
beautiful,
on,
though.
she doesn't say anything. Like she says
Aside
here,
from the eyebrows.
don't go to the town. They don't want you. That's all
And
she
the
says.
mouth.
Yeah.
She doesn't say anything about like they're going to arrest
Take
you. There's
take
murder
10
people.
seconds to be like, there's a bunch of ghouls or something that live up there that kill
And then-
people.
No,
but
she
I
does
doesn't
say
even
my
know about
dad will
that.
kill
It's-
you or
She's just
something.
worried about her dad, who's the drunk redneck with the shotgun later.
Sure as shit he
But
is.
later on in the movie too, when she's supposed to go warn them about stuff happening, she just runs up and says, I don't want you to get hurt. She doesn't say, hey, there's a mob on the way. Or
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
She doesn't know how to use her
she's-
words.
Yeah, she doesn't
They're
know
going
how
to break
word.
your records and shoot you with a shotgun.
Well, that's what happens when you fall in love with a 14-year-old. So
Apparently. There's a whole song about it.
yeah.
I'm in love, but you're so young.
So he warns her though to stay away from Grand Guignol,
Uh-huh.
which does not sound like a redneck town.
Not at all.
It sounds more like a redneck town the way the sheriff says it. Who didn't bother learning?
I mean, that's
Guggenol.
That's like Louisiana shit.
Yeah, Grand Guignol.
The Grand Guggenol.
But yes,
I didn't see that, Wes Anderson.
the Grand Guignol
The
Hotel.
Grand Guggenol Hotel.
Yeah, no, it stars I don't know who's a knockoff Gene Hackman.
Oh, God.
His son?
Gene Hackman has a son?
I don't know.
Somebody had sex with Gene Hackman?
I would.
Who's the guy from Raymond and Young Frankenstein?
Oh, Peter Boyle.
Peter Boyle. He's like a knockoff.
Yeah, we could do Peter Boyle.
He's a good actor, but he's no Gene Hackman.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So Peter Boyle stars in Grand Guggenheim Hotel. Directed by Jeff Anderson.
Just so we know, Willem Dafoe's still there.
Oh, of course.
What about
Dafoe
what about Wednesday?
I prefer
I don't know
Thursday.
his name.
Oh, Ian McShane. I
Thank
was
you.
like, from fucking Munsters or whatever.
Dude, I'm same thing. I'm like Wednesday Addams.
Yeah.
I don't know how this correlates.
Ian McShane.
Yeah, Ian McShane.
Yes.
Swearingen.
Yeah.
From Deadwood,
Okay,
San Francisco
So
cocksucker.
it's Ian McShane and Peter Boyle starring Jeff Anderson's Grand Guggenheim Hotel.
There we go. Let's get it.
And it's Anderson with an E, not an O.
And apparently somebody's vagina has teeth.
One of these days we're making a movie.
You're gonna be an
guys.
actress, my love.
So we're back. We're in the van with the band now, and Jesse
We're in the van with the band.
man.
and Jesse has a guitar in his hand, and he's jamming. That doesn't work. That's
He's,
fine.
trying to
having
jam.
he's having
There
a
we go.
jam.
He'll
and
punch
he's-
everything up.
He's singing in Latin. Domine, somine, something, something.
Domine,
Actually-
something, Domine.
I have the exact words of part of it at least. Recknitz Eis Einra.
That's
German.
It sounds German because that's the way I'm saying it. I don't know how to Latin.
Gotcha.
Recknitz Eis Einra.
Son.
Someone wrote it down on the IMDb trivia, of which there are 2.
Oh. And one's about the other one.
But they're like, where'd you get that song from? And he's like, oh, I got it from a book. And this is where it's Sam Mann who's like, a who?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like it if you stick with it. If this whole movie, instead of, saying
We just
what,
needed it at least one more time.
I actually want it more. I want it to be a
but
whole
I'm saying
comedy
thing.
has a
At
rule of
least
3s.
one
Minimum
more time
one,
would have
but-
been perfect.
Yeah.
But I'm being greedy, Whitney. I want more.
You are a greedy ginger.
Yeah.
And so they see a hitchhiker.
Pick 'em up.
It's not Elsa.
Mock,
Yes, it is.
Is it Elsa?
Yes.
Okay. But she looked different.
Bird.
No, it's her. She's wearing a whole different outfit, but it's her.
Okay.
This is her shtick.
Yeah, well, that's what I was confused about at first. Because in that other movie,
You've
there's
seen
like
this
8
twice.
girls. Yeah, but I watched Auntie Lee's Meat Pies in the same week.
He took drugs in one of these viewings.
He
The
too.
did
first
actually
time I
take
watched
drugs,
this
you
movie,
guys.
I took some THC mushroom gummies, and halfway through this movie, they were kicking in, and this movie becomes a
It
fever
kicked in right
dream.
around like the twist, right?
Yeah, right around
Oh,
the time
boy.
this movie becomes a fever dream, and I was just like, is it the drugs or is it the movie?
It can be two things.
Turns out it was both.
It could be two things.
But yeah, it was. By the way, legal THC mushroom gummies.
It's about to be federally legal.
I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep, I think so.
I hope so
It
because
depends on who our next president is.
It's
Trump
gonna.
comes
It's
back,
gonna. Dude, even fucking Trump's not stupid enough to get in the way of fucking the green rush.
Oh, sure he is. That'll piss all the Christians off if he doesn't. And those are the ones who vote for him because they
Christians
love
be getting
everybody.
high. Christians be getting high.
But yeah, but they like to do it behind closed doors, like gay sex.
So do I. Don't come look at me when I'm stoned.
Christians
I'm looking
smoke-
at you right now. Though, am I
I'm not
supposed
stoned.
to look away
I'm high.
and look back at you and then look away?
I'm awake. I mean, when I go home and
Okay,
get like
walking.
pants off high.
But what I mean is Christians smoke weed in secret, like they have gay sex in secret.
I smoke it with a hole cut through the sheets.
But then in public, they're like it's bad.
Mormons just put a joint in their mouth and don't inhale. I'm just soaking.
I'm just toking.
I like that. Let it toke for a second.
Sharks of the corn? Virus shark? Cocaine shark? Sharktopus? Yeah, those are all real movies. Join me, Steve Coates, as each week I take a comedic look at the bizarre world of sharksploitation cinema on Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast.
As you folks know, we like to have a beer or 3 while we podcast, and sometimes that leads to a not so pleasant morning after, unless we remember to hydrate, people. That's where Liquid IV comes in. Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, and it's now available in sugar-free with a proprietary zero sugar solution that has no artificial sweeteners. I love using Liquid IV because it comes in convenient little packets you can take with you, makes me feel rejuvenated and hydrated, and best of all, now, it actually tastes good. Just one packet of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than just water alone, thanks to the 8 vitamins and nutrients it has, and it has 3 times the electrolytes of those other sports drinks. We love Liquid IV so much that we're offering you, our loyal listeners, a steal of a deal. Get 20% off when you grab your Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier, sugar-free, or any other variant at liquidiv.com and use the code WORSTPEOPLE at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code WORSTPEOPLE at liquidiv.com. So then she gets them, and that's when she's like, hey, you guys should stay at my family's house. We have a lot of room.
Pizza Motel.
Turn right here.
Motel. Turn right here a mile after you picked me up.
Because
Yeah, but that could just be poor fucking
and it's probably
editing.
the editing, but
we are looking for things that aren't going to be in this movie. But yeah, it's just a funny fucking thing where it's like, all right, hitchhiker, pick her up, take her right here. Wait, how close to your house were you? Oh, at the driveway. I just didn't want to walk up the driveway.
It is a long driveway.
You know what? Yeah, it is like a Beverly Hillbillies driveway.
Someone's hitchhiking, you go to pick them up, and they're like, can you just drop me off at that gas station? You could have. I
I've
can
done
see
that.
the gas station from where you are.
Can you
actually
drop me
have
off at the
done
next bus stop?
when I lived out by at Kinney and Bop, it was like a 3-mile walk to the gas station. I was a mile down the road, and this guy was he wasn't hitchhiking, he just had a gas can with him. And so I was just like, I pulled over. I was like, do you need a ride? I'm going to get cigarettes. And he's like, yes, that would be great. So
How are you not dead?
do you know how many hitchhikers I picked up?
I don't.
At least 5.
How are you not deader?
Yeah,
Christ.
coming in the future, we will have an episode on Rutger Hauer's The Hitcher. You're going to learn.
I got free drugs once. It was awesome. I
But-
got into a rave once.
Okay, anytime you get free drugs, it's awesome.
But picking up a guy with a gas can and taking him to the gas station makes sense. A girl who was on the side of the road hitchhiking with like a bag that needs to go a block, weird.
Yes.
The guy with the gas can is trying to get to the gas station. He ran out of gas. Yeah. He could be very close to the gas station. That's fine. I've done it. I ran out of gas when I was younger and my car didn't have a working gasometer. I don't know what it's called.
Gasometer, dude.
Okay, gasometer. That's preferred nomenclature.
Gasometer's not the preferred nomenclature. Gasometer, please.
But so she takes them back to the house, and they're unloading their gear. And Phil Fondacaro comes up, and he's like, "Hey, can I give you a hand?" And the guy's like, "Sure." And so he throws the severed hand from earlier in the movie at him, and they play hot potato with this thing. They're like, "Oh, gross!" Tossing it to each other. And she's like, it's just his toy, which is not untrue, I'm sure.
Right. Like, no, she's speaking the truth.
It
Like,
is a severed human hand, but it is also just his toy.
he plays with it.
It's called The Stranger, right?
Not when you do it with somebody else's hand.
That literally is a stranger, though. If you just murdered a stranger and you
Yeah,
jerked
that's a
off with
weird
their hand.
stranger.
Oh, The Stranger is when you like sit on your hand and make it numb.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay.
I'm not answering this.
I don't have a penis, so I like to know things.
Allegedly. I don't know, man. Sometimes I think Whitney's got big brass balls.
I do.
She doesn't have a penis, though.
No cock, all balls.
My balls are just inside.
Take a look inside my balls.
Big brass uterus.
We talked about the cute ute.
My mother actually did tell me I had a beautiful uterus.
Yeah, we've talked about your cuterus. Go on.
Oh, man. People learn too much about our personal lives on this thing. Hopefully nobody's ever canceled in the future for just saying things like cute uterus. We're in trouble. So we've all said
Well,
it.
in fairness, I did combine it to cuterus.
That's fair. You didn't
We are
say the whole thing.
Also, never running for office of any sort.
You don't
Unless
have
they
to run
want
for
me.
office. I mean, I guess fictionally, Kevin Spacey got canceled, and he was a fake president. But
True.
Well, I mean, we're not going to.
He's on his way to getting uncanceled, I think.
who knows where it's going with that whole thing? If
Yeah.
it all came out that it was like they set him up and all
Yeah.
this stuff. But
I'm just happy
The
I might be
people
able to
who do
watch
that
7
stuff-
again.
well, the people who did all that stuff, like not everybody, but a lot of the people who were like the big proponents of pushing it, don't care what the outcome was. They only care about the
Income?
accusations.
Yeah.
Like, what? There's an accusation, eat a dick, go die, and then it's like, well, actually, none of it was true. Don't care, die anyway.
Yeah.
So, am I supposed to like the bag of dicks? Do I have to suck one to completion, or just like la la la, toss it, la la la,
You
toss
gotta eat it.
You gotta eat it. You gotta eat the whole
Yeah,
thing.
you gotta chomp, chomp,
chew,
chomp.
chew, chew, swallow.
Uh-huh. Which the swallow's easy.
It's Practice.
You hear that? Swallowing is easy.
You heard it here from Jack.
Speaking of swallowing is easy, we also see werewolf grandma here.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, good question. Is she turning into a werewolf
Or
is
putting on a mask.
or putting on a mask?
She is turning into. It is a shitty mask.
Yes, and
but
the production
she
is that she
turning
leans
into
down in her wheelchair to put it on.
Yeah, because they're not paying for American Werewolf in London special effects.
Even though these special effects have some very fun parts.
Who is the special effects guy?
The head special effects person, I don't know the exact credit, is John Carl Beekler. Welcome back to
Welcome
the
back.
show.
Welcome,
dude.
and we'll see you soon.
I'm not
yeah.
even golf clapping that. That's
That's a full-on clap. Slow clap.
I'm a Disney slow clap that bitch. This is the closest Derek and Whitney have ever been to like a sporting event. Just
lies.
clapping in unison
Lies. I've actually been to a baseball game.
with your husband.
No,
That's what
I went to a hockey game a couple years ago.
With your
he
wife?
fell asleep.
No, with everybody from Harbottle, but she wasn't working
That's
there yet.
because the ice is so cold and comforting.
Also, we started doing an employee like brew. We did our own beer. We started at like 8 a.m, and we drank all day. And the game was at like 6. And I was sitting in this thing, and I'm just like, it's cold. I'm drunk. Sleepy time. Also, it's hockey, and who could possibly care?
I
Whoa.
love hockey.
Dude, I don't give a shit about a lot of sports. There's certain ones that get a fucking pass, and ones that allow fighting will always get a pass.
So hockey, and I mean, for me, listeners know, take me saying it's hockey, who could possibly care, and fill in any sport. But for the
Sports ball.
sports where it's really hard to see the thing that's being sportsed about, the puck, the soccer ball, whatever, it's so much
you have
harder.
a problem seeing the
can't
soccer ball?
What the fuck?
Well, when you're sitting so far away, it's
The
like
baseball is harder to see sometimes. You have to
yeah,
look
but
for
the baseball
players.
is hardly what matters. The baseball hardly matters because like you see the person swing and you see the people running, and there's all the in soccer and in hockey, it's just a group of people running at another group of people, clamoring into each other occasionally,
Yeah.
and I can't see what's in between.
Way
them.
more entertaining than baseball.
I'm going to give
The
you
best
a plus.
thing soccer has given us in the entire world is Ted
Lasso. Also, next goal wins.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Cacio Pepe.
I forget it's about soccer.
Yeah, you should. It's delightful. Also, I'm going to give a plus to soccer in general. Dude, you get 45 minutes of action. Action is definable by what you like. But you have 45 minutes of no commercials. Then you get your halftime where you get to go make your drink, get a sandwich, do whatever you want, and then 45 minutes of no commercials.
That's fair.
Soccer.
Because a football game is what, an hour 40, but
Jesus
it takes 3.5 on TV.
Christ, the commercials in football are getting out of control.
And it's
They've
not
been
even
out of
just
control.
on TV. The NFL made their deals, right? And so it's like, oh, we take a break here, we take a break here, because it's all for TV.
And then you miss all that fucking shit.
Al Pacino from Any Given Sunday. The sport died the day we made TV timeouts.
There you
Like
go.
they have forced TV timeouts
Hooah.
now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For a long time, not just now. For
No,
a
no,
long
'cause
time,
I
the
always
game
No,
will.
wondered.
when they stop on TV, they stop playing for real.
And there's times that if you're at a live football game, which I've only ever been to 2, when you're there, like it'll just be a timeout that no one called. That's a TV timeout. It's a forced stoppage.
I don't like
and
that.
You shouldn't. Only fucking fat cats like that. I'm gonna start a fucking podcast about that.
Yeah, it's because the NFL is all about commercials.
Yep.
They want that money. How else are they gonna pay?
45% of the people watching the Super Bowl are watching it for commercials. They're not even watching it for the game.
He's not wrong.
And how else are they going to pay like the millions of dollars to multiple players?
Easily, just shorten your fucking profit margin. You're making billions. You can make millions. Calm
I
down.
mean, yeah.
Not
Or
you. I'm not
or
saying you can calm up.
or
Am I not raged enough? This is my raged voice. Am I not raged enough?
She's furious, folks.
I have another proposition. Don't pay them $200 million a year
Yeah.
for playing 16 games. Sorry, 17 games now.
Yeah, I like it.
For working
Anyways.
17
But
days a
3
year.
people that don't give a shit about football think those players are all overpaid. Weird.
Anyway,
They only play for a couple years of their life.
Well, welcome back.
welcome back to Football Sucks.
Welcome back to America's #1 podcast, as long as you don't fact check me.
You're my favorite. You're my number one.
Oh, thanks. Welcome back to this house's favorite podcast.
You're my number 2.
I'm the number 2 you won't flush, pal.
Yeah. The one that we try, it just never goes away.
That's right. Sure. Aw.
Well, now I'm just thinking about that,
Fuck, that was my
fourth
castle.
Pirates of the Caribbean movie where there's a giant toilet.
Wait, what?
What?
You know, with the big whirlpool.
I never watched it.
I saw the commercials.
Okay, we're gonna have a fucking whole segment about a guy that saw a commercial explain a movie to two people that never saw the commercial or the fucking movie.
It's a toilet flushing boats down.
It's called a whirlpool.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you
It's
right
a
now,
toilet.
your dad's gonna get real mad if you start flushing fucking ships down the toilet. I can speak from experience, dude. Those things, it's not good for plumbing.
So there's werewolf grandma.
Yes, werewolf grandma that gets switchblade
don't just jump in like that's a normal thing. Yes, of course, werewolf grandma with switchblade hands in a wheelchair. Yes,
that can now stand up.
She's in the attic and she's howling, and they're like, "Hey, I'm not like one to judge or whatever, but like, why is there a woman screaming in your house?"
It's just her primal cries.
Yeah, it's her primal scream therapy.
Yes.
Mom, shut up. We've got friends over. Meatloaf.
Okay, can anybody help me with this next song? Because all I wrote for the song was na 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 na.
No.
I don't remember the song now. Na na na.
It's Cassie.
Na, na. No.
No, Cassie. No, Cassie, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe it's Cassie without the words.
Maybe he's working on
There
it.
was just a song that they do here that's it's when they're doing the whole. Okay, so the band is doing this. It's like a montage of them doing shit around the town.
Montos.
yeah.
And the manager's taking pictures.
No.
They're hyping this town up, dude. They're
Yeah.
fluffing this town musically.
And
Ooh, we have a fluffer.
They are their own fluffers.
Ooh.
one of the guys, Tommy, I think,
Sure.
does the skateboard tricks where he's just
Yes.
doing the twirl, and he does it in like 2 or 3 different shots because that's the trick he's got.
It's the only. It's a good trick.
It is.
but you can tell it's like, oh, I can do this. We're gonna do that in every fucking location we can find, Pally.
And then Sam Mann shakes up some beer and then pretends it's his penis and sprays it all over a bunch of maybe 12-year-old
Underage
kids.
girls.
Maybe, dude. There's a bunch of either abuelas or little fucking mamas, little babies that you shouldn't be pretending.
It's
a
like
beer
they just
can's your
called
cock.
out to the town that they were in and like, hey, we just need town members. Can we
Dude,
just
there
film
is
you?
somebody's grandmother here who's just smiling and nodding the whole time.
Doesn't
like
speak
she's-
English.
And
Okay.
then there's a little kid. One of the ladies is holding a baby.
A babby.
And this kid is putting his hands over his ears, which is fucking hilarious.
Maybe this is Sam just improving, not having a script.
Yeah.
The script said shake up beers. He's like, pretend the beer is your penis. Got it. Got it. I'm making a fucking choice here.
And then I think it's Tommy also does a mime segment
Yes.
in front of the bus stop.
Yeah, same. You said Tommy's the one that skateboarded, so it is.
Yeah.
It is Tommy
Blonde.
again.
And he's
It
doing.
is.
He's like, there's all these people sitting at the bus stop, and
that's what
he's
I
like
said.
miming across in front of them, and they're all like clapping for him. I'm like, the last time someone clapped for a mime, I'm pretty sure like, I don't know, there was kings that had not been beheaded.
You got a
yet.
better chance. You got a better chance of the mime getting the clap than getting clapped for.
The best mime in the history of movies, and I could be wrong because I've not seen many with mimes in them, is Marcel Marceau, because he was in Mel Brooks's Silent Movie, which is, as you would guess, a parody of silent movies.
Yeah,
Marcel Marceau, a world famous mime, has the only speaking line in the entire movie.
which is just meta as fuck.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
It's
I took a little bit of theater in high school, and the big thing, like you have to delve into mime. Like it's
You were
just,
in the
I was in
theater.
the theater.
theater. Yeah, I had to do it too.
So you had to put the
Musical
mime
theater,
makeup on.
miming.
And my teacher told me, she's like, the second that first sponge of white makeup hits your face, if you're like, you don't talk if you're traditionalist.
Correct.
So, have you ever heard me not talk for any extended
I've
period
also
of
never
time?
seen you in whiteface.
You're looking at it right now.
And during this whole segment, the cop and townsfolk, which I guess is probably Ed and Ted and Red.
Yes.
At the time, I was like, I don't know, townsfolk.
There's the next chairman named Zed.
They're all watching, and they're progressively getting more and more annoyed
Yeah.
throughout this entire segment. Like you can see that sheriff just chewing through this toothpick.
I wanted the sheriff to be Chris Penn.
I definitely
Oh,
didn't want
man,
it to
that'd
be
be a
this
better
asshole.
sheriff.
I mean, everybody. We could glow up everybody, really, but we're not
Yes.
going to. I just hate this fucking guy.
Yeah,
and
this
I think
guy's just such a
like I'll let
fucking
everybody
liar.
else act because they are doing the best job they can. This guy is just grumbling and rumbling through this shit.
Well,
for
And
a
apparently
paycheck.
he just talked shit the whole fucking
Yeah,
time.
that's what I was
behind
gonna say.
scenes.
All the people said behind the scenes, he was like, "This is fucking stupid," and they're like, "Yeah, we know."
Yeah.
get over it. You're in the fucking movie.
Like, you get it. You're doing a low budget film. First of all, that should kind of let you know what you're in for.
Yeah.
It's a low budget film.
It's
Quit
called
bitching
Hard
about the
Rock
script.
Zombies.
Yeah, it's not Hamlet.
Yeah, he had a whole thing in the behind the scenes of like, oh, so I just figured I put on this hat and these sunglasses and do an accent, and no one will ever recognize me.
And
I
good
was like,
job, because nobody fucking ever did.
no one ever cared.
Yeah.
There's almost always a guy in the behind the scenes of these old shitty movies that's like, yeah, fuck this thing. I hate it. But it's like, you're doing this interview. Clearly someone wants to see it.
Yeah. Well, no, you're doing this interview. Clearly you care.
Yeah,
You
you
care
want to
to
be
be
Like I
known.
said, people get paid for these behind the scenes interviews. That's what it came down to. This guy who is who writes poetry, gardens, and talks shit on Facebook.
Oh, he's
was
a
like,
he's a polite radical, dude.
He was like, paycheck?
Well, he did say something about like, well, I have a letter about how I did not get my pay.
So that came down to, and I forgot when we were watching it because we were kind of talking.
What?
He wanted to get paid more because the movie appeared in an American Drive-In still.
oh,
And
that's
so he's
what
like,
that was.
well, I should
Okay.
get paid for that too. And basically, the director, Krishna Shaw, was like, actually, you can go fuck yourself.
Yep. And you know what? Golf clap.
Just hold on, let me put my drink down. Just to give you a bit of character behind this actor, he did an awful Indian impersonation of this
Jesus
guy.
fucking Christ.
Like-
We were just making a joke about how somebody was like, oh, and Krishna said da-da-da. And I was like, well, at least he didn't do like an Indian accent.
Followed up right by this guy, and he did like I'm not even gonna do it, but it's
No, I'm not.
It's like the Team America Durka kind of. It's
It's
that
like that.
fucking.
It's actually not even that good.
yeah,
If
No,
that
it
tells
was-
you anything.
Terrible.
yeah.
Like,
you don't have to. You don't have to do it.
We need Dan Castaneda in here if we're gonna do a bad Indian accent. Like, not. That's right.
No,
right?
he
Castaneda?
he did. He didn't do Apu. That is.
Abo?
Oh my God, I'm blanking on his goddamn name. He's in Birdcage. I do not wear shoes because they make me
Azaria.
fall down. Hank
Azaria.
Azaria.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Because I fucking love that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I knew it was a name that was.
that
weird.
might be my mental
I've been
health.
drinking whiskey. I can't think of Hank Azaria's name,
I
but
know,
I can
I
tell
want
you
whiskey.
that his name is Agadorth Spartacus in fucking Birdcage. All right.
I love
Sorry.
the
Yes,
birdcage.
Hank Azaria. I'm an asshole.
No,
is
well,
he?
you are, but
Who
that's yeah. He's trying to get Godzilla 2 off the ground.
Oh, we'll get to the first one at least.
Yeah.
Very soon. One of the guys, it's not the sheriff. Oh, it's the dad. It's Cassie's dad. He starts
Yes.
talking shit to Jesse.
He
because
looks like
Jesse's
he-
talking to Cassie.
This guy looks like he belongs in the Footloose town.
Uh huh.
Like
Well, and
he's
this
got
is
the
the
glasses.
Footloose town.
Music is not allowed.
You know what? Yeah, this is a Footloose. This is pre-Footloose.
You're welcome.
Because they're about to ban the music.
And he tells him, and it's a good line. He's delivering his lines like he's intimidating, but he's like a balding middle-aged dad.
Yeah, but
But
he's acting.
Get the fuck out of town, you little pecker.
Yep.
It made all of us laugh.
Pecker.
Pecker.
So then we have the town meeting. And
See
Ed,
if your phone understands the word pecker.
I tried swiping on my phone. I swiped
Yeah.
pecker, and it was like, I don't know. What
I
you
wonder
want,
if
man.
mine would. I'll try that out.
I think I got Bleecker, and I'm like, you're going to give me the name of the street where fucking Sherlock Holmes lives, but you're not going to give me Pecker?
Oh, Bleecker Street. That's also where they do laundry in Big Daddy. Suds on Bleecker.
I'm pretty sure Bleecker, is it
I wipe my own ass.
something and a half Bleecker Street?
Yeah.
Isn't that Sherlock Holmes?
Or Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, maybe. Same
Sherlock
thing.
Holmes doesn't live in New York, dude.
Well, there's a Bleecker over in the other side.
In
of the
Old
pond.
York.
I don't know.
In
you know
in
what? It doesn't matter
Elementary,
because
he
Doctor
did.
Strange and Sherlock Holmes, kind of the same
Elementary.
guy.
They lived in New York.
Elementary, my dear Emma Watson.
Speaking of elementary,
Lucy Liu.
I just got Train Spotting
just
4K
happened?
today. I'm very excited about it. It doesn't sound like it has anything to do with elementary, but what the fuck's his name?
Ewan McGregor.
The main guy, Johnny.
Oh yeah, Johnny was Angelina Jolie's first husband. Johnny Lee.
Johnny Lee Miller. Thank you. I was thinking Johnny Young Bosch, but that's the second Black Ranger from the Power Rangers, and that's not him. Johnny Lee Miller.
Weird fucking flex.
It's weird that was
He's
the first name that came to my
Hackers.
mind. Hackers. I
Okay.
watched Hackers
He's
last night.
Crash.
He's Crash Override /
It's been
Zero
too
Cool.
long for
What
me
the
to,
fuck?
for me
Okay,
to narrow
well,
in on that.
stay tuned because in July you will be talking about Hackers.
All right, I'll stay tuned.
But he also was the main character, or not the main character, but he was in Train Spotting. The main character is Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
He was in Train Spotting, and he
The main
was in
character's that
Elementary.
dead baby.
Is that how they got their like notice?
Sorry, I like your wife's body gesture with a
I don't know
notice.
what that means.
That means that they had to fuck somebody for that role.
Yeah, like Is that's how they got their big hit?
It's
like,
a pretty early Ewan McGregor, for sure.
1,000%. But he's got that.
He
That
was
mole
in, he
was
was
the only
in
reason
quite
I
a few movies before he was really famous. Most of them, he showed his dick.
Yeah.
I didn't watch those porns. I'm
Let's
sorry.
get to that.
They weren't porn. He just pulls his dick out.
Speaking of nothing you were talking
Basically,
about.
everything before Star Wars, he shows his dick. But
Not in the island.
that was after Star Wars.
He wanted
Was
to.
it? No.
The Island is 2006. I don't remember. We covered that movie last year, and I've forgotten as much of it as I could.
Well, I'll tell you right now, The Island is not 99.
No.
And episode
one is 99.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know when Island was, but I know it wasn't 99.
No. Train Spotting might have been after.
Disney
No, it was
straight up
before.
was like, put that dick away.
He said, yes, please.
The mouse wants that back in its
I
house.
can put my dick away for Disney money?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, no, it wasn't Disney yet.
No, but it is now.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. That's a different podcast.
I'll
So
take
we
my
have-
dick out for that.
We have Ed, Ted, and Red, who are the head councilmen of this city. And this scene is really funny to
Larry,
me.
Curly, Moe, got
Yeah.
it.
This scene is really funny to me. Like,
Oh my God, this
they're having
lady.
an emergency meeting or session
It depends how you vote.
about the rock and roll in this town and how they should ban this concert. But then they get tied up in like, and it's very like
The politics.
They get tied up in the politics of like, one of the guys is like, well, is this a meeting or a session? And they have a debate and they have a vote
Which
about,
goes 1-1.
And
it's-
then we just find out that one person stutters.
well, and the one guy who stutters, who is Ted, he votes for session. Ed, who's the council, like the leader, votes for meeting, and then Red is like, "Oh, I don't actually give a fuck."
Yeah.
You know, he's the one who brought it up,
Yeah.
and then Ted or Ed, whatever, stuttering guy is the one who's like, he's like, "Well, actually, the head councilman can't vote unless there's a tie, so that means it's 1-0, 1-0." He says,
Uh-huh.
"So that means it's a session," and then he goes, "A session or a meeting, whichever one I said."
And then he's like, all right, and then back to your point. He's like, what was my initial point? How the fuck do I know your initial point? Well, I'm going to drop it because I don't remember it.
Yeah, I withdraw it. And
I withdraw it.
Everybody chuckles.
It's a fun scene. We're not doing it the justice because it's fairly rapid fire. And
I think
then
we jumped a little bit because I was thinking that was next. But it doesn't matter. We'll just talk about it.
Yep, we're just saying.
It's all happening at the same time.
this movie's plot is a fucking soundtrack. So come at me.
Ron, the manager, is at the meeting, and like all these people come up to talk about why they think music should be banned.
Okay, this
There's
is another
one lady.
But this is another part of the bureaucracy part or the procedure part. They should just stand up where they are and say like the Bible says it's devil's music, but no. They
get up to
slowly
a
and get up
podium.
and walk up to a podium across the room and say like, I don't think it should be legal, and then walk back to their
Yep.
seat. Like you could have yelled that.
And I
Well-
have them written down. First, though,
Reader's
Red
Digest.
says, so banning this concert means we're banning rock music in all of its forms. And Ed is like, no, that doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. And he's like, no, it says right here because it says in all forms. And he's like, so it should be included in our bans of the G word. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it. It's a racist word. It's for Romanians.
Oh, gypsies.
I maintain it's not bad to say,
Yeah, no.
but I'm
The way they're
also-
saying it applies to Romanians, which makes it a racial slur. But
Yeah.
then we have the version of like Snatch, where it's like, no, these are just the wandering
Neo,
people.
yeah, like feel free to get offended by it, and we can talk about it in detail. But like, it's like a neo gypsy of this kind of different meaning of the word, where you travel, you roam.
Yeah, they don't want travelers.
You know,
Yeah, and they say that, and circuses with lewd acts and some other things.
And there's-
door-to-door dildo salesman.
That's you're paraphrasing, but not much. Door-to-door dildo salesman. Yeah, and this chick in the front, she's cute. I mean, she is just
very attractive, and
wriggling
she is-
and writhing at
Derek
the
likes
mention of
dark-haired
dildos.
ladies.
I like it all. You know what my type is? I don't.
Alive,
Alive.
alive, and over 20.
I have a
she's
problem
hugging
with
a
one of
dick
those
over there.
things. Just kidding.
But yeah, the women who come up to speak about this, one of says, Reader's Digest says these songs all have hidden messages. The next one says, National Enquirer told me musicians can't play unless they eat drugs first.
I mean, that's kind of true.
And then the lady we're talking about comes up and she's like, hi, y'all.
My
So,
mom-
Mom's in the hospital, but she wrote me a note because my mama says.
Like, what is this though?
So- because
it's so
Reader's
weird.
Digest, Encore, or whatever.
Okay.
Inquire.
And then
My mama
Esquire.
said,
My mama says-
alligators are angry because they got all them teats in their mouth.
Well, folks, Mama's wrong again.
But she says rock music causes sex. adolescent sex, premarital sex, and worst of all, physical sex.
So what else are you talking about with premarital sex that's not physical? Go on. What do you mean?
Soaking.
It's still physical.
No, you're not moving. You just
But you're
sticking it in.
touching.
It's just
right.
it's just soaking.
I concede my point. Soaking is not sex.
And then Cassie's dad comes up and says, the kids
Cassie's
listen.
dad is getting really mad.
And he says, look, the thing with rock music is kids put their headphones on, listen to it after their parents have gone to bed. They put their head under the covers, and they practice self-abuse.
What is self-abuse?
And this guy in the back, who ends up being a character for 40 seconds later in the movie,
And then
who
another
looks like a
character.
wizard.
Yes. Yeah, you clocked this dude as Father Time.
Yeah, he says, he's like, what is self-abuse? And then somebody else says it, and then somebody whispers it to this old farmer, like, what is self-abuse?
He's a
And the
pig shit
guy
he's a
stands
pig shit
up.
farmer
He is
for sure.
Oh, this guy is
big
pig
shit
shit.
farmer. What's self-abuse? And somebody tells him, oh, I remember that. I remember touching myself all the time. Do you remember that? I used to whack off all the time. Then we found that one goat, and you were standing in front of the goat, and I was behind it pushing. I was pushing that goat.
Sit down.
And they shut him down because he's telling, I'm telling a story about fucking a goat. I don't see why you're getting so upset.
This town is against a rock concert, but they fuck goats, and everybody knows.
It's okay to fuck goats. The Bible says you can fuck goats.
Oh,
Well, back in the 30s, you
Scary
could.
It
Movie-
isn't rock and roll.
Was it Scary Movie 3 when he's like, sometimes a sheep has to be pushed through the fence?
Aww.
I think it was the last funny one.
Do you know why all the Scotsmen wear kilts? Because a sheep can hear a zipper drop from a mile away. Bunch of sheep fuckers.
Do you think you can bartend all day doing that?
No, I can't do it.
So that's
Yeah,
yeah. So
try my kilt to flip.
there's no rock and roll at any time under any circumstance. And
John
Ed,
Lithgow comes in and bans all dancing and rock and roll. Are you insane?
and then Ed is like, by the way, speaking of Kevin Bacon, because it wasn't Kevin Bacon in Footloose.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a
Yes,
long
it
time.
is.
Oh, I haven't seen it since Friday.
I get Footloose and
I watched it Friday.
Dirty Dancing mixed up a lot.
Oh, God, one's a
Same
good
movie.
movie. Dude, one's a good
No.
movie. The other one's fucking Dirty Dancing.
Patrick Swayze's always in a good movie.
No, I hate Dirty Dancing. I'll fucking die on this hill.
There's
Come at
like
me.
two good things from Dirty Dancing. One is, how do you call your lover boy? Come here, lover boy. And if he doesn't answer, oh, lover boy. That's like the best scene from that movie. And then they
It's
end.
a good scene. Yeah.
And then the end.
It's-
Hey, well, you know
it's-
what? Nobody puts baby in a corner. That's all I know.
That's the end.
Somebody should have.
That's all I know about the movie.
Somebody should have put baby in the corner. She's trying to fuck a way older man.
Yes.
But
Oh,
it's
Cassie?
the 80s. Yeah,
Cassie.
it's the 80s. That's
also-
what you did.
Cassie
Doesn't make
kind
it
of
okay.
Cassie kind of looks like Jennifer Grey, just bushier eyebrows and teeth.
And bushy
Imagine,
eyebrows.
if you will, the hair of Jennifer Grey, the mouth of a Gina Davis, the eyebrows of 3 Rachel Weisses, and the nose of Sarah Jessica Parker, and the acting talent of a rock.
Not the.
Not the rock.
just a rock. Because the rock can fucking act.
She is as flat as a surfboard in performance. I mean, there's just nothing there.
I promise I'll love you forever.
Don't come to the show this night. Might be danger.
Bye.
You put too much inflection.
I know. I want it to be funny.
But I do like Ed is like, well, what idiot wrote that law out? And
You
and
did.
Red's like, you did.
But you advised me.
And yeah, and then Red advised me, and he's like, I just advised you, man. He's like, well, you advised me wrong. And then the sheriff is like, doesn't matter. It's all illegal. Fuck it.
Yep.
Everybody gather up all your records. We're burning them. And he leaves.
Yeah.
Get it
I'm not even gonna do
now.
his monologue, even though it's a Southern cop doing a monologue. Skip over it. He's dumb.
Because he's a fuck.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
But at
Whitney
the same
wanted to kill
time-
this guy so bad.
I did.
At the same time,
This is before seeing the interview.
True.
kind of at the same time, I don't know. It's all cutting back and forth. It's very weirdly cut. The sheriff arrests the band.
Yeah,
and
because they were
puts-
playing
because-
rock
well,
music.
he starts out with, "Do you all own this van?
That's a
Somehow
problem.
that's illegal."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it sounds like a socialist van, dude. And we're gonna have no part of
That's
it.
fair.
We need ownership.
And so he puts
proprietary.
them in their jail cell. Oh,
No, no,
wait.
no.
Oh,
is this a
wait.
chicken coop?
It's a chicken coop. It's,
It's a
a
chicken
fancy
coop.
chicken coop.
Yeah.
But
Chicken
nonetheless,
coop with a real heavy latch on the front.
uh-huh.
Those
Yep.
are big chickens.
Some big cocks.
Oh,
This is where
is
KFC gets their chickens.
Is
Oh,
it the
yeah.
werewolves lair.
No, they're not even at the house yet when they get locked up. So I think we went ahead. Which
No, yeah, with the meeting is ahead.
Yeah.
We missed a little. So they get
It's
locked
fine.
up, and then we go back
you'll
to
be
the
as
house.
lost as we are.
We go back to the house, and the grandparents or parents apparently
They are the grandparents of
the
somebody.
grandparents
Of Elsa
Phil
and-
no, they're grandparents of Phil Fondacaro and Bucky, the little people.
Oh, they're
the
grandparents
parents
of Elsa and Photo Guy.
Weird tall photo,
Creepy McSnaps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Creepy McSnaps. We'll go with that. And but the parents / grandparents, old Germans, are fucking, which is exactly what we wanted to see in this movie.
Yep.
Is old people fucking.
Hey, you know what? She's old, but she's still hot.
You're 95 and you can still fuck me like that?
And he's
After they finish, the two Phil Fondacaro and Bucky pop up. Like they've been watching the whole time.
It was Mikey and Bucky.
Well, Phil Fondacaro.
yeah.
It was Mikey.
All right.
I'm just saying.
And they both pop up, and he's like, "Mein Gott, the grandchildren."
They were watching the whole time.
And she's
Oh,
like,
just let
and they're
'em.
like, "Yeah, can't we watch?" And he's like, "It's bad enough we let the children watch, but now the grandchildren, like,
What's
What the
wrong?
fuck is going
We'll
on?
let them watch us.
At this point, Derek had leaned over and be like, "This is where the movie gets weird." No, he's wrong. This is where the movie got weirder. This movie was
Weirder.
never not weird.
and
But
then-
this is
and
when the
then
drugs kicked in.
it
This
ends
is where the
up,
movie got weird for him.
it ends up with, "Well, you can watch, but don't touch."
No touchy.
Which okay.
Oh, touchy. Bad baby.
Hey guys, after this episode, I really kind of want to go out and get a beer. What are you thinking?
I mean, okay, look, the thing is, I deal with beer so much in my life. I want something else. I'm fine with beer, but I want like a stiff cocktail or a nice glass of whiskey.
You know, the music box is just down the way, and you can get an awesome cocktail, and they even have like Tombstone and other great beers on tap.
The music box, where would I find that?
Oh, you mean the music box at 6951 East 22nd Street in
Yeah.
Tucson, Arizona?
Right down there at 22nd and Cole.
Yeah, they've got a great selection of whiskey, gin, tequila, mezcal, other spirits.
Ooh, sometimes they have like pudding shots and Jello shots.
You're putting me on.
And depending on the night of the week, we can get karaoke, live music. It's great.
Ooh, on happy hour on. Oh, it's Wednesday. It's on happy hour.
Yeah.
I'm in. You guys are selling me.
Let's go to the Music Box Lounge right
Woo!
now.
Let's go.
So they end up getting released from their chicken coop cell because Elsa pays their bail. Cassie tries to help by slipping some money in the window.
$36.06.
Dude, you know what makes this sick? It's probably her tooth fairy money. You fucking old perv.
Ooh.
I got as much as I could. $36.
She doesn't have 300 teeth. You got like a quarter back
Well,
then.
it's maybe her dad's drunk and he sees like 3 times the amount of teeth. He's like, I gotta leave $5 for each
No,
one.
that would be
That's-
75 cents.
No, not back then.
In the 80s, I got $1. You're right. I
She's
got
an only.
$1.
She's an only child.
If we're doing conversion, $5 now in the 80s was 1.5 cents.
I'll feed you today.
I got
You're
$1,
welcome.
so my kid got $1.
I probably got $1. I don't know. That was a long time
I got
ago.
$1. I got $1.
We discussed
Wait, I thought
that.
the tooth fairy took money. I had to leave $1 under the pillow every time I lost a tooth.
We discussed that watching these
The
interviews,
exchange.
though.
We were
'cause
poor.
There's the one guy in the interview who's like, I don't remember any of this. And I was like, that's me. I watch these interviews all the time, and people are like, yeah, 40 years ago we made this movie. Here's
That's me.
a nice anecdote about it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, how? How could you possibly
Yeah, this
remember?
main guy is pulling dates in the behind. He's like, well, we started shooting in this day of October, and then by this time, he remembers everything.
That's me.
And then I think it's Tommy
God.
is the one that's like, I vaguely remember making this.
Uh-huh.
I can tell you what
And
I
it's
wore.
Ed from the council. He's like, I don't know, dude. I was at a bar earlier.
I can tell you what I wore to some event my sophomore year in high school.
I can tell you what I wore my
It was a
fucking
white
senior
t-shirt and
year. It's
shorts.
just wrong.
Oh, mine's right, because we got tickets.
But Ed, the guy from the council, when they're interviewing him today or whenever this interview was done a couple years ago, yeah, this guy looks like they pulled him out of the bar. He's gin soaked. He looks like David Duke. Is that the name?
Yes,
the guy that was
KKK.
Trump's guy, and he was a KKK guy.
Yeah, that guy.
He looks almost exactly like David Duke.
Yeah.
This guy literally would still be sitting on a stool drinking gin.
No,
Not gin and tonic.
No gingement.
Just
Gin on the rocks,
gin.
please.
Nope.
Oh, God.
He does
Nope.
gin on the rocks at 6. By noon, he's just doing gin neat.
Yeah.
Gin on the rocks. I don't care if you're drinking at 6 a.m. If you're drinking gin on the rocks, we have a problem with your drinking now.
No, it's not. It's in a flask in his.
Ugh.
Yeah, Yeah, he just goes to the bar
in
and
his
orders
breast
tonic.
pocket.
There is a hierarchy of what goes in a flask.
Please do tell.
I'm just going to give you the top and the bottom. Bourbon is number 1.
Yes.
Gin is the lowest. Everything else in between, I can give you a
What
rundown
about
of.
Rumplemints?
Not in a flask. It does. You are a sick, sad man.
But yeah, I think he goes into the bar and he orders a tonic and ice. And then he just pulls out the flask of gin.
And he just fucking hums a Mission Impossible to himself.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh, so he's crunk now?
dun, 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 dun. But yeah, so the sheriff
I can
tells
do.
them they're not playing a show, guaranteed. And the guitarist, Tommy, is at this point, they're setting up to do a mini concert in front of this house.
Sound check, mayhaps?
Yeah. I don't know, something.
Oh, yeah.
And
they're
he's
just
basically telling everybody, though,
saying
like,
thank you. Let us stay here.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And
they
he's
pay for
telling
stuff.
everybody basically though, like, this family is gonna murder us. Like, you're gonna die in your bed. Like, this is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family.
Tommy looks directly at the drummer Chuck and like, you're gonna get slashed in the fucking
Chuck
shower.
Chuck is fucking around, obviously.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
is.
let's see how you're how
He's just chucking around, man.
yeah, he chuckles. Buckets of chuckles. No, but he says something like, let's see how much you're laughing when when we find you slashed up in a shower. Ha
Yeah.
ha ha. We'll see if that
Chekhov's-
comes back.
Chekhov's
It's Chuck-off.
Chuck-offs.
Chekhov's gun. Phil Fondacaro is up on the balcony with like their I don't know. They have like their mixer and stuff up there.
Dude, do not try and make sense
All
of
right,
this.
got it. So and he's like mixing wires together.
And then the grandpa.
hits a big button.
No, plug something in.
Oh, that's right. And it starts electrocuting everybody.
It
But-
doesn't.
And they're all like,
It doesn't make sense because even though you do mic drums, you're not touching anything electric.
yeah, I
or
don't
anything
get
like
how
that.
Chuck was
Like,
getting electrocuted.
He shouldn't have been. A lot of these guys shouldn't have been. But here we are.
You know, these
Watching the
guys were
movie.
big followers of Tesla, not the car company, but the
Actual
scientist,
Tesla.
Nikola.
That makes sense.
Nikola Tesla, and he was a big proponent of like the kind of Wi-Fi, but like wireless electricity.
That makes all the
they're
sense.
doing
Oh, he
wireless
wanted to give
electricity.
us all free power, and he got murdered for it.
I mean, there's a
we can get into
spoiler
that
alert.
anytime you
I'm
want.
not going to say what happens, but I mean, Nikola Tesla, I'm pretty sure was German.
Sehr
And
gut.
he's German. I mean, this whole family is German.
this guy, the grandparents are
Nein.
German at least.
I mean, yeah, he's
I mean, the rest of the
speaking-
family is German in heritage, but clearly they're not.
Oh, and at the time of this house, we get this fucking dude chopping the heads off chicken, and he's dressed like a skinhead. I don't like necessarily mean like American History X, but I kind of do. But it's
Yeah.
like that soccer hooligan, neo-Nazi, shaved head, suspenders, combat boots. Yeah, like he's
a literal, like, takes an axe to his scalp to make him a skinhead. He's
To get
a
that
literal
last hair
actual.
off, yeah.
yeah.
Olaf.
Olaf.
slicing off chicken heads.
Yeah, no lines, I don't think. I think he just kills people and
Yeah,
the chickens.
maybe a grunt here and there.
And then we go to and they
my Wookiee.
I
It's a
think
weird
one of
grunt.
them, I think Jesse maybe hits something and it unplugs everything and so they don't die.
Yeah.
And then Elsa and Snappy McCreeps,
Creepy McSnaps.
Creepy McSnaps, come over and they're like, "Oh my god, our house's wiring is so old. We would have never meant for that to happen."
We
Let's
have to
do it
fix this
before somebody gets hurt.
again.
Yeah, let's fix this before someone gets hurt. Creep.
As this whole band is just smoking like tremors, just fucking trembling all over the place.
Ooh, that's what this movie needed.
Tremors?
That guy. That guy from Tremors.
Fred
you know.
Ward?
Yes.
Fred Ward or
James Victor Wong.
no, I was thinking of
How'd you get up there? Wasn't easy.
the dad from Family Ties.
Oh, Family
Michael
Ties.
Gross.
Yeah.
I was thinking Reba. I can't even get penetration with the elephant gun. Go on.
Yes, that's his wife in the second movie.
No, it's his wife in the first one.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reba?
Reba.
We'll find out. We'll watch those.
No,
two.
I know.
I know, but we'll watch those
It's
too. is what I'm saying.
$1,000. It's Reba.
I'm just saying. Well, the problem was we watched 1, 2, and 3 in like a day and a half.
I'm not hearing
Yeah,
a problem.
She was.
Well,
only-
I don't. The problem is
She was in the
differentiating.
first one and left him.
Yeah, I don't think she's
that's
in
right.
any
And
other
the second
one.
one, he just has the bunker house because she left because she
Yes.
was tired of being a crazy.
She took
prepper.
half his guns.
She did.
But so Jesse is now sitting in the attic making his Latin song that he was singing earlier. He's just playing the bass, and there's this tarantula crawling across the floor, and it crawls up on him, and he knocks it off and kills it, but continues playing his song, and the tarantula comes back to life.
Cool effect. Also, there's a hand in a jar.
Yeah, there's
that
a
they
hand.
got the fingers to wiggle, and it looked really good.
It did.
He did mention in the van, I don't think we mentioned it, that the song he got from a book that was supposedly would bring things back to life.
Who?
A what? A who?
Who? A book, dude. You fucking read them.
Book Jones. The look
Chirp,
I
chirp.
just got from my wife.
Yeah, it hurts. It stings, dude.
And then there's a sexy shower.
Yes, there is.
So Elsa gets in the shower, gets naked. She's got a lot of areola going on.
Uh-huh.
Whole
I'm all
lot
about
of
the
areola
areola
going
And
on.
it's not hard nipple. It's that you would think it would be, but it's not.
But it's still a good coverage of the areola code.
I
And
just
the
want
shower head.
I just want to let people know I'm not judging large areolas. I'm just commenting.
I'm happy about it.
The shower head sucks. It doesn't look like it's good pressure. The shower head and Psycho look good.
Yeah, we got side by side of that at one
Well,
point.
they did a close up of the shower head when the shower turned on, and I was like, I've been in that hotel.
Yeah, it's at like fucking chest height. God.
Yeah, you don't get your hair wet.
And so Sam Mann sees her showering because they have a clear curtain, and he comes in and gets naked and joins her. And he says something along the lines of like, "Oh, it's a lot like the Devil and Mrs. Jones," which I don't know, but my wife does.
Wife
apparently.
knows the Devil and Miss Jones.
Okay.
Apparently, it is an adult picture.
I've seen the Devil and Miss Jones. I think it's 5.
Huh.
So there's a multitude, and it's good if you. Sorry, I was 16 when I watched.
much like me, she hasn't seen it, but
No.
she has seen Psycho.
Yeah, she's like, maybe a little more like Psycho. And yeah,
Out comes a switchblade from her vagina.
I think
Maybe that's what happened in the lake.
Creepy McSnaps walked in, so maybe he slid it to her. Doesn't
Maybe?
matter
I don't
because she
know.
starts stabbing this.
She
dude.
has one now.
and it's very close to being a shot for shot remake of
Yep.
the Psycho
Intentionally.
shower scene. Yeah, intentionally, of course, because they say Psycho.
Yeah.
But this one and then another one in a little bit that's like a Texas Chainsaw reference. I'm sitting here watching it, going, I get what you're doing,
You're doing it terribly.
but don't make me want to watch better movies.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
that is an issue.
I'm watching this, going, well, now I just want to watch Psycho.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's fine to pay homage, but don't make me wish I was watching something else, please.
Exactly. And this is when all the band starts getting killed because now Tommy and Bobby,
They're up in the attic
Fuck,
with Grandma.
Bob
for
Rob.
some. They're up in the attic with Grandma for
yeah,
some
they're
reason.
just hanging out with Grandma, and I'd love it though because she drops something, and instead of saying, "Oh, I dropped whatever," she's like, "Oh, I seem to have dropped my nothing, my thing,
My
My
I
thing.
dropped my thing. I dropped a thing. Can you get the thing for
I
me?"
say that all the time, so I get that. I'm like, hey, look,
Of course, you'd
I
be on
dropped my
her
thing.
side.
Can you get that
But
for me?
No.
But Bobby bends over to pick up whatever minor thing she dropped, and she bends over too. And then when she sits up, she's a werewolf lady.
Arr!
Dun dun dun.
And then she pulls out switchblades because being a werewolf isn't good enough. You can't just claw and bite.
Double
people to death.
switchblades.
She has 2 switchblades.
My, what big switchblades you have.
And she guts this dude. And then Tommy is trying to get away from her without ever leaving the room.
This is the worst voice.
Running into
in the movie.
skeletons.
This guy's voice is
Come
something.
on. Get out. It made me long for the days of a young Luke Skywalker trying to go into Toshi Station to pick up some fucking
I just
power
want to pick up
converters.
some power converters.
Toshi Station.
It reminded me when he's doing his like exasperated noises of falling. It's the noise that you've made and I've made quite a few times on this show. That's a Scrubs reference. Like it's literally he does that, and then he falls behind a curtain that apparently serves as her closet. And there's
Skeletons in the
and
closet.
corpses.
Filleted peoples.
I'm like, you didn't smell this?
That's going to stink, dude.
Yeah.
She had air fresheners.
She got some Glade plugins.
And she's chasing him around, and he ends up hard quote falling out of the window.
He jumps out of a window.
Dude, yeah, he
Splat.
jumps out of this window like, you're not going to get me. Well, I died.
Yeah, and he did mention in the behind the scenes that like, or maybe it wasn't in the one we watched. Maybe it's in another one because I watched all the stuff on this disc, so it might have been on a different one. They didn't have a stuntman that looked like him or had hair like him or anything, so he jumped out of the window himself.
What did he land on?
I'm sure they had a mattress,
You'd hope.
probably a pile of mattresses.
Hopefully not that mattress we see later.
just the springs.
That's why it's all
that Rambo torture mattress.
Yes.
He blew,
But he did it himself. So
he
I
blew
mean,
the
that's neat.
mattress out.
I
Never
mean,
heard of that.
we love real effects like that.
Yeah, we do.
Real stunts, not effects.
And then the bald
Same,
guy,
same.
or
Same.
Olaf. Olaf is pursuing Jesse and Cassie because they're trying to meet up in the woods, forbidden relationship, whatever. He starts chasing them with the weed whacker from Final Fantasy,
Uh-uh.
Friday the 13th, Part 7, where Jason's chasing them
Difference
with the,
being, This is shot at a lower quality.
Yes.
Lower.
And
It's much
a
darker.
really bad time of night or
Yeah.
day.
I
So
think they
you
were doing
can't.
day for night, and it ended up being way too dark.
So this looks like a normal weed whacker.
Yeah.
Which,
It's-
don't get me wrong, that's going to sting.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be okay.
But at first, eventually you see like a silhouette when he holds
Yeah.
it up, and you can see that there's a blade.
when he does his Texas
But-
Chainsaw
Yeah,
moment.
and that's exactly. So they fall down a hill, and he's now wearing a Nazi armband, by the way. They fall down a hill, which you can't see. Luckily, Cassie was wearing a white shirt.
And Jesse says, I
She's
love
the only
you.
thing you see on that fucking
He's
screen.
looking for me, and here's this ring. Go, run.
Yeah, and but right
Play
before
this
he gives
tape.
her the ring and the tape, Olaf stands at the top of the hill waving this weed whacker around, and that's the Texas Chainsaw scene. It's the scene where Leatherface has the chainsaw and he's spinning in circles.
You can also see a good parody of that scene in Idle Hands, where Seth Green has like a kitchen plug-in carving knife.
I saw
Look
that.
at me, I'm Leatherface.
I saw that in theaters.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I fucking love that movie.
I did too.
I haven't seen it in
never
like
seen
10
it.
years.
I was
but-
obsessed with Devon Sawa.
Yeah, who
Oh.
wasn't?
And he's like, "Hey, play this tape when this guy kills me." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it. Go."
This is the most normal thing I've said to you. Shut up and play this tape when I get killed.
Yes.
So yeah, so then the bald guy Olaf kills Jesse. This is when I got his name actually. In parentheses here I have Olaf.
That's where we got his name.
Okay.
But he does it to where it was the actual weed whacker, but it was the center
Well,
part.
first
that
he throws a knife in his left hand, sticks into a tree.
Darts.
Oh, is it darts?
Darts. He's darting his hands to the
Damn,
tree.
there's a whole new level of lawn darts then. So he lawn darts his hands to the tree one by one, very stigmata. And then now, yeah, he's weed whacking the fuck out of
his heart.
chest.
Yeah, he weed whacks him off. And then we cut to a family dinner with the grandparents. Ron is there for some reason.
Uh-huh.
Oh, because it's the end of the funeral.
Okay.
This
Funerals.
Funerals, because multiple funerals is better than one.
They're just so homely and they're just so,
cozy.
cozy. I love multiple
Yeah,
funerals.
that's the grandma's line. And
what?
Grandpa reveals that he's the one who got them to outlaw the polluted, quote unquote, rock
Which-
music.
I just had a thought. Whitney and I wondered, who the fuck booked this show if the town is instantly against you?
Well, so
I want to
Now
say
here,
it
let
was
me put some-
Grandpa.
I just thought of that right now.
Yeah.
He's orchestrating everything. Go ahead.
let me put some thought into this that they didn't. So the show that they were doing at the beginning, those guys are there. So I think whoever owns the club, which turns out they mentioned in the documentary was the Troubadour, which is like an LA club.
Uh-huh.
But whoever booked books the club booked this band. And so I don't know if these guys went to this other town by coincidence or if they went to see who the band was. Because the sheriff, Ted, Ed, and Red,
Right.
listening to the concert talking about how it's trash. So then they decided, well, these guys can't play in our town. So I think it
But
was
they were already
booked.
scheduled. Yeah.
And then these guys were like, nah, that's not happening.
But like, again,
They
Oh,
went
because
ahead,
their name was Holy Moses.
and they went ahead to check it
Oh.
out.
doing work.
Yeah.
Whitney's
There we
doing
go.
work. Derek's doing
and,
work.
And they went ahead to check it out, and they were like, this is devil music. We can't listen to this. We just have
Okay.
demons living
Mama
upstairs."
said that Holy Moses is a devil music.
But then this is the part where Grandpa is like talking to Ron. It was like, "Well, I'm looking for a
We can use you.
unpolluted, youthful
Well, you're doing southern
boy."
accent. Grandpa's
Oh yeah,
doing German.
sorry.
We
German
are
accent.
looking for an
Because this is-
unpolluted, very motivated young man.
This is the twist that changes this movie.
There's the reason we are
Yes.
doing the German accent.
He has a buzzer that goes off that apparently is like, nah,
It's
nah,
been
nah,
40
time-
years!
time- it's
Now it is time.
Here's the reveal. It's fucking Hitler time, dude.
He pulls his
What?
mask off and he's fucking Hitler.
What
Yes,
the fuck?
He pulls a mask off. It looks exactly the same. So he should have just pulled a wig off. Yeah. Because he just pulled. The only thing that's different is he has black hair now.
Yep.
I also don't understand
And the
Hitler's
mustache.
plan. So Hitler hid himself in America for X amount
40
of 40
years.
years. Thank you. And what have you accrued? I don't see any big army. I don't see any weapons.
There's
I
a
don't see
map behind him that has a swastika in certain parts
In
of
all
the
the
world.
countries.
Sure, yeah, like all the big.
So
like,
all
it's the
these
big
Reichs are
countries.
waiting for him.
Maybe he has people elsewhere.
Again, now you're doing work. I think.
But he's talking about in his speech. He's like, now we're gonna get up and now we're gonna do this, and then he goes into German that
Yeah.
we don't get.
And he
subtitles
ends up
for.
with what I am pretty sure it's because I mean,
and 1 cup of sugar.
There's some keywords I
Jack
understand
picked out a few
from Mein
keywords.
Kampf.
I was just assuming that he was just yelling gibberish in German.
No,
No,
it's
it
a very-
sounded like real.
He's just like pickle sausage, like.
Vienna sausage, sehr gut.
But he does end up saying, like, he has a master plan. The Third Reich is dead.
Yes.
The Fourth Reich has risen.
Yes.
Today, California. Tomorrow, the world.
Yes.
Dude, like I don't get your plan.
There is no plan.
Oh, but he shows Ron his plan.
Well, so first Cassie
Part
goes,
of it.
Cassie goes to the mass grave of these 4 who were buried 6 inches apart.
Yeah, it's supposed to
And
be
above ground.
It's supposed to be 6 feet deep. It's 6 inches down at best.
Yeah, and she's crying and she's like, "I wish you would come back," whatever. And she ends up playing the tape, which is the Latin song.
And then hands come out of the
They all
soil.
rise from the grave. Dominus. Rectus. Dominus. And so the zombies rise. And this is the best acting any of these 4 do. Because when
Yeah.
they're
Oh,
walking,
for
at this
sure.
part, especially when the music's still playing and they're walking as zombies, they're walking to the beat.
Yeah. They like 1 and 2
Yeah.
and 1.
And they
2
rise
and
looking
none.
like a knockoff Kiss.
I'm still sticking with Jim and the holograms for my
Yeah.
fucking 80s babies.
Well, Tommy didn't want to look like Kiss because that's not his thing.
Oh,
he
that's
wanted
right.
to look like Adam
Robbie.
Ant.
He wanted
Robbie.
No, that was Tommy.
It was Robbie. Tommy's the blonde.
Oh, that's right.
it was
Right,
either
right,
Robbie
right.
or Bobby.
It was
Robbie
It
Bobby.
was Robbie. It was Obby. Obby was the keyboardist.
So
and
Bobby wanted to look like Adam Ant
Yes.
instead of
Yeah,
Kiss.
because they're all like, in the behind the scenes, they're like, "Oh, Kiss, I love Kiss. Kiss is great, whatever." And then it gets to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I was in like a skinny tie band," which I'm not 100%
said
sure
there's-
what that means, but
He said there's the long hair rock and rollers over here, put your hand out, and there's the short hair funner rock and roll over here.
Yeah,
I was
which-
with those guys.
he says skinny tie band, and my first thought is the bands like from the early 2000s, like
Devo.
like well, I'm thinking like Jet and stuff like that.
Oh, see, I
But
hear
then
skinny
he
time,
then
like,
he goes straight to Adam Ant, which is
Yeah.
more Devo.
Uh-huh.
So like
it's that early
Talking
80s, maybe
Heads.
like Talking
Okay.
Heads, perfect.
that's not
Yeah.
a skinny tie.
No, but maybe,
That's not.
Frankie Says Relax.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, because he's more into that music, and he
The
even told the
synth-
makeup girl.
He's in the synthesizer.
There you go.
Did I say it?
You eventually.
Fuck.
but he
call me
apparently
This would be embarrassing if you had a podcast to be
Call
on
me
today.
Ted.
Synthesizer?
Synthesizer.
I can make fun of that because I had the biggest problem saying that word when I was younger. Like synthesizer, I have to think about when it comes out of my mouth. I can't just whip it.
I can only say
it good?
aluminium now.
I can't whip it.
Can you whip it good?
No.
But you say
synthesizer.
You say call me Ted. I'm like, just call you me. Because I've stuttered over so
All
many
right,
fucking
me.
words in this podcast. Not this
It's-
episode in particular, although that's also been true, but in general.
I feel like you stutter less the more you drink. It's a weird thing.
It is true.
It's like
Slam.
It's a form of the verbal shakes.
Yeah, I've got the DTs, but it's the VTs. So Hitler takes.
yes, we've reached this part of the movie that so Hitler is something that's going to be said.
So Hitler takes Ron to his basement, which is in a cave.
And Ron is freaking the fuck out.
Yeah,
as
he's like-
he should be.
basically, I think
Thank you. I was like, I would.
they don't clear. Ron does have a line when he first reveals himself. He's like, "Is it really you?" And then you're like, "Wait, so
Wait,
are you
what?
like, wow, it's Hitler?" Or are you like, "Wow, it's Hitler"?
Yeah.
Like, because the way he delivers it.
I want to say at least, in my hopes, at least 80% of this country would be like, "Oh my God, it's you."
Unfortunately, no, because Donald Trump got the majority
I'm
of
not
votes.
listening.
Yeah,
Fingers in
Trump
my
is
ears.
Trump is still a
La-da-da-da-da.
fucking thing in 2024, so you're wrong.
Somehow
Somehow Trump returned.
Trump returned. That's America,
Well, the Republicans-
America, episode 9, Rise of Trump Walker.
The
Is this
Republicans
the Fourth
can
Reich
use
that he
certain
was
things
talking
that
about?
Republicans can use certain things that the Jedi find unnatural.
So Hitler shows Rob his basement, which is a gas chamber.
Uh-huh.
At first, he's like, "This is the cleansing room," and you see like a small like wood-fired stove.
Yeah,
and you're like
a potbelly stove.
Yeah. I was wondering too. I was like, what is your master plan? A fucking furnace?
yeah. Are you gonna like make these guys comfortably?
We
warm
can
to death?
heat the entire basement.
But no, then he starts going through these pipes that he has, the yellow gas that makes your guts come out and the blue gas that makes your head explode or whatever.
Full
he
of
says.
pus and
No,
piss.
pus
Pus
and
and
piss
piss and piss and pus. Yes, that's right.
It's his pipe dream, dude.
And then he's like, fuck it. Like, Ron is not interested. Because I think he's trying to recruit Ron to basically help pick people. Because he wants someone who's organized and can make spreadsheets.
And
So,
pure.
hey, you know what? This is not far off because Hitler, the one that we know from history, not this movie, used IBM to help him create a system to catalog people.
Oh, that's nice.
So, yeah.
I'll talk to my
Time
dad
out.
about that, who used to work for IBM.
Yep.
See if he knows about that. But Ron is like, nah, I'm not going to help you. And so he's like, okay, well, then you will be the first that we eliminate. And he's like yelling a bunch of shit in German.
Your impure blood, your dirty blood, yada, yada.
And they drag this, Olaf drags Ron out. And then Hitler turns around. And he's like, shame. He was such a nice boy.
Yeah. It's actually a good delivery from this Hitler guy.
It is.
He goes from maniacal German yelling to, yeah. He was such a nice boy. It's a shame.
So I did write
It's a
down
shame.
the actor here. He's only been in like 2 things.
Okay.
But I had to because his other role. So his guy's name's Jack.
Was it Hitler again?
No, but it's even
Jack.
better. Jack Bleisner, I want to say. He plays Hitler/Grandpa. His only other role was in a 1987 movie called Crime Killer, and he was the president of the United States in that movie.
Hitler got it done, huh?
I was like, okay, so the 2 roles you've played were Hitler and the president. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. But so then,
Both hate Jewish people.
depends on the president.
Nope.
Most
I don't
of them,
think it does.
Ron gets tied up by Olaf, and Olaf's about to kill him, and then like hears a noise and is like, I gotta go, I'll be right back. I'm not exactly sure what happened. When he comes back, Jesse is untying Ron.
Uh-huh.
So Ron is able to get out, and he kills Olaf by sticking a fucking railroad spike through his throat.
Dude,
Oh my God,
this
this
is
thing-
Fallout 4.
It's a 10-inch.
Yeah, when you don't really notice the first
Railroad
time
tie.
Thank you.
I got you, Playgirl.
spike. The ties
It's
of
a
the
spike.
wood.
I don't got you, Playgirl. I'm
That's
so
okay.
I
If
failed you,
couldn't say
Playgirl.
I still
You still can't
I couldn't
it.
say werewolf spike.
What about if somebody played synthesizer on a werewolf?
You're that guy. You're that guy from Big Bang Theory.
apparently.
That's the best answer ever.
But we don't see it right away because he grabs it and stabs him real quick. But when he pulls it out later, you can see this thing just
It's
keeps going and
huge.
going.
Yeah.
And going.
And then you look at his neck and see, you're like, oh, that's why he was still in the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, he spikes this guy to a wall.
Yeah.
Not unlike Jesus. And then Robbie, Bobby, whoever, and Tommy go up to, they're all killing the people who killed them.
Yes.
So they go up to Werewolf Grandma, who we now know is Werewolf Ava Braun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that happened. Hey, by the way, Ava Braun is getting it.
Yeah.
She's a hotsy.
She
Ava
is
Braun,
gorgeous.
Ava Braun
for
is a
being
solid
90
20 years
old.
younger than fucking the guy who's playing Hitler, though.
Uh-huh.
She's supposed to be like grandma, but she's just wearing, and that was hard quotes, people who can't see me.
Which is everybody
She
besides
does
us,
have
too.
like an old lady wig
She's
on,
got
an old lady
wig
mask.
on.
They
mask, makeup.
powder her crow's feet, you know.
Yeah.
But dude, guess what? I'd still hit it.
No, she's still pretty smoking hot.
Oh, I bet take those fucking robes off.
No, leave them on.
No, take them off.
Your Honor,
I'll say.
I'm about to finish this sentence.
But they go up, and I think it's Robbie, the one that she gutted, who ends up gutting her, and you see her guts spill
Yes.
out. But then Tommy is just walking around the room throwing shit like he did earlier. Like he's
I
still
think
not-
he found his guts, or somebody like on the bed. He finds viscerated guts.
That's the one that Grandma found.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think she found. Well, she found
know,
him.
She
the
found it
grandma
inside
took
of
outside
some.
of Bobby.
Yeah, that's the one that Grandma
Look what
took
I
out.
found inside of you—a heart.
Kalima.
Weird. Kalima. I'm trying to cut down.
Chuck goes and kills Creepy McSnaps, Snappy
Yep.
McCreeps, whatever we said.
Creepy McSnaps
Got it. And Elsa.
Elsa.
And
drowns them motherfuckers in like an
Dude.
inch of water.
yeah,
Oh my
Elsa,
God.
he drowns
This
in a
looked like-
bird bath.
Uh-huh.
No, this
Creepy
was
McSnaps.
ground.
No, Elsa's in a bird bath. Creepy McSnaps is in a 1-inch deep puddle of mud.
And as Whitney just said, I'm going to quote Whitney.
yeah,
Because it
indeed.
looks like backup sewage.
It's a cesspool.
A Cessna pool?
So Hitler finds Ava Braun in front of his mansion.
What movie are we doing here? What fucking movie are we doing here?
This is The Great Dictator starring Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, I preferred The Great Dictator. I'm pretty sure I made that joke before.
That's the porn parody, also silent. But he's mourning her. He's like 9 over her dead body, and then they all come out of the woodwork and they flank Hitler, and they don't really do anything. They like circle him, and then they join hands and do a ring around the Rosie.
I thought it was the world's worst or best game of Ring Around the Rosie.
It was Ring Around Rosie, but if you looked at how their arms and everything connected, it was making the Star of David.
Ring around the Hitler.
Burning ring of fire.
Then Ron runs into yet another town meeting. I don't know if it's a town meeting. They're just hanging out in the.
Now
They're
they've been
hiding.
They've been smashing records, or no? We saw
Oh,
that
that's
part.
right. That's right.
That's
They
right.
were smashing
They
the
are
records
smashing records at
because
this
the
point.
lady, the hot girl from earlier, is picking up trash. Because
Uh-huh.
they're like, well, it's the woman. Let her do it. And
Yeah.
all the men are sitting around talking, including the wizard. And Ron comes running in and he's screaming about zombies. And they're all like, the fuck are you even talking about?
And then the wizard's like, the ghouls.
There's a subplot here of ancient Jewish powers fighting hidden ancient Nazi powers.
I have
like
to say,
something.
it reminds me of Beer Fest when he's got the eye of the Jew.
Yeah,
that
it's got
whole
the
thing.
eye of the Jew.
But this old Jewish wizard knew about Hitler and Ava Braun being in the
never
town.
fucking said
and
anything.
Just decided to keep it a secret.
But he also has his own secret that we don't get to.
No, because he says something about how they were ghouls, and they're like, "How do you know all this?" And he's like, "Because I was the one." And he starts dying, and they like shake him to life, and they're like, "What did you do?" And he's like, "I
Dies
and he
again. Shake him to life.
And they ask him another question, not answering anything, and then he dies again for the final time.
and he's dead. Although
then-
that actor
I
definitely
think
comes
that-
back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
Yes,
think he dies.
1,000%. His son
He's
is now...
reborn as a younger 85-year-old.
Yeah, he's still an old man with a glorious mustache. Like this mustache could kick Sam Elliott's mustache's ass.
Dude, this mustache can find gold.
This mustache is a foot from tip to tip.
Yeah, you know what? She ain't wrong.
I'm not.
It comes off the side of his head. At some point, he pulls out a gun at someone, and I was like, "It's Yosemite Sam."
Yeah, but he pulls out a German Luger.
Yeah.
It's really weird. He's a fucking Holocaust survivor. We just didn't have the time for this plot.
Yeah. And so then Ed or Ted finds Ava Braun. We
It's the
determined who
stuttery
it was.
one.
Ted.
It's the okay.
Ted.
Today, Junior.
Yeah, he finds Ava Braun's corpse, who's supposed to be like 95 years old, and his first instinct is to, not unlike Rocco from Boondock Saints, start grabbing them titties.
I was going to tip her.
Doesn't make it better, Rocco.
No, it does not.
And then he walks away, and she jumps up as a werewolf zombie and attacks him.
Yep.
Man, werewolf zombie, it's a whole different
and
thing.
this is one thing that the old man said was once they become ghouls again, they bite you. Their brains melt and it turns into venom, and they bite you and it turns you into zombies.
Yeah, they're venom.
Ghouls they're venom. They're what? Venom, like snake venom.
And they do this joke twice, and I'm like, it's not that funny, guys. We
Oh,
know
virgin?
WV, I get it.
Uh-huh.
German. Great.
But he says, ghouls beget ghouls.
Yeah. So their venom will infect you, and you will turn into a ghoul. Also,
When and where?
Zombie Hitler gets up and attacks some town person, a random, I think. The asshole dad, Cassie's dad, finds Olaf stuck to the wall with a spike and starts robbing him. So he takes the cash out of
Pickpocket,
one
babe.
shirt pocket.
Why not?
He
He's
takes
not gonna need
cigarettes
it.
out of the other. Although I was waiting for him to pull out like a big fat cigar. And he pulls out a pack of cigarettes and he's all
A
happy
pack
about
of
it.
cools.
Yeah.
It was
I'm
ghouls.
like, bro, come on.
Skinheads don't smoke menthol.
No, they don't.
They have a problem with that, and we
Yeah.
won't get into it.
Yeah. Imagination, folks.
But he starts smoking a cigarette, and he looks the happiest he's ever been. And
Counting
Olaf
his
pulls himself
ones.
off the wall. And
You're
by the
counting
way,
his ones.
when Olaf pulls himself off the wall, and then the railroad spike comes out of the wall, we get a.
Yeah, it's a good Matt Foley.
And it is a great fucking like, and you can obviously, you know, he's pulling it from the side, but it doesn't look bad.
Right
like it
before he
looks
starts
really
pulling it out.
good.
Right before he starts pulling it out, he tears a piece of flesh out of this dude's neck and starts trying to eat it. And he spits
Yes.
it out. And I thought, oh, because he's like, oh, you're unclean or something.
Yeah, we wondered why'd you spit that out?
Because he can't swallow.
Because he can't swallow.
Why can't he swallow?
He's got a nail road in his
Got a
neck.
fucking railroad spike in your neck, bro. You can't swallow. You can't get me down like that. It's a fucking problem.
The blonde corpse is arrested? Question mark. I don't know. The sheriff has her in the back of his car.
And somebody else, I think they had dead bodies back there.
Okay.
I think they were dead bodies when they picked him up. Again, we're doing work.
She gets up.
I don't know.
And
She
by the way,
pops up and out from fucking nowhere.
But as soon as she pops up, like, you smell that? Like,
Yeah.
that's why I think they just had corpses in the back of their car.
and she bites the sheriff. But before this point, and I didn't write it down, so I didn't mention it, but like sometime before this, she's already been doing her weird, like seductress dance in the middle of the town.
Forever.
It's before she even became a zombie, though. It's like,
Yeah. She spends a lot of time making a music video for this movie.
yeah.
Yep.
And everyone who's been bitten by them is now getting up. It's a whole thing. We go to the zombie band still playing their fucking show.
They get
in their van and they-
singular minded. They have to get to the fucking
We kill the
show.
people who killed us, and then we play our show.
Yeah,
Yep.
we did it. We got it.
Because Ron kept yelling at them because there's an agent coming to this show.
Yeah.
A guy named Mattson, who's a big Hollywood muckety-muck. And we see his muckety-muck setup and his muckety-muck speaking. He's a Hollywood guy.
Dude, when he's listening to this band, he sets up a fucking sexy picture of
Himself.
He's got a whole
And-
little mini desk with like pills and a phone.
Yeah, vitamins,
and,
maybe
yeah.
some other fun pills, a yogurt. He's
eating yogurt?
He's got a cell phone. Sorry, a telephone briefcase. It is not a cell
that
phone.
is also connected to the PA.
You're sure. You click twice on that handle, and all of a sudden you're speaking over the speakers.
Yeah.
like one would.
Of
I
course.
don't
get
get it.
That's how my
There
phone
was,
works.
There was a jack under his seat.
Oh, I wasn't there. I was.
But when he first gets out of his car, though, he gets out of his car and he looks around. And he's like something about like, oh, this pig shit town. or
This town is
something.
dead.
Yeah, like so
Yep.
you know right out of the gate, like, oh, he's a big Hollywood asshole. Oh, look, this town is small and it's after dark and quiet, which means it's garbage.
You're not going to be a good person, are you?
Yeah, it's fine. It works out. So we get some bigwig chatter, and they start doing the Cassie song, which Jesse had mentioned to Cassie. He wrote her a song, but he didn't know her name. So she tells him, and it's like, oh, well, conveniently, your 2-syllable name fits into this song.
What's your name? Gretchen. No, I'm not
Well, that
going to
still
call
works.
you that.
Whoa, Gretchen. That still fits. But
But
if it was
I
like,
made it work with 3 syllables. So
What's your name? Ava Braun. No, that's not
well, I
going to
guess
work.
it works with 3 syllables if you take out the whoa. You just be like, Alexandria.
He's a professional. He can make any name work.
But, I mean, and I don't hate this song
that was also
either.
4 syllables that you just did.
What are you, this fucking
It's
syllable
fine.
Nazis?
It's 3
Yes.
song syllables, all right? Song syllables are different.
Okay.
Ask a
She's
rapper.
trying to get rid of all the vowels.
I didn't hate this song either, but it is just the chorus. I mean, there's a verse
Yeah.
about how she's too young, but he's in love with her anyway.
The theme of this
You've
fucking
been-
movie.
You've seen nothing, and I've been through everything, or some shit like that.
And this
it's
is where
new
we
to
get
you, but I've been through a lot. A lot I've been through. Sorry.
this is where we get Jack's all white fantasy. This is the
Oh,
the-
this it's
Yeah.
this
This
late.
is right
this is
here.
the Billy
Damn.
Madison dream.
Yeah.
Like
Pictures of beer and shit. Veronica Vaughn.
Exactly.
Or no,
This is actually over the
Victoria
gravesite. We
Vennett.
did
as I say, double V.
yes, Victoria Vennett.
this. The all white is when he's still in the ground, and she's thinking about it. It's when the Latin
No, it's during
songs-
this song. We'll watch it again. But
Yep.
it's during this
It doesn't
song,
matter
but
where
it doesn't
is.
matter
It's
because
so ridiculous.
he's wearing basically the same outfit he's been wearing, kind of, but it's all white.
And it's with
like
the white
collared
scarf.
white
pure.
shirt.
It's chaste. It's fucking
the
clean.
wide collar, and it goes like almost all the way down to his navel.
That
And then
deep
he's
V.
got a fucking white
Chiffon.
white
Ascot,
scarf on.
neckerchief.
Nope, it's a neck. It's way too long to be an ascot or a neckerchief. That bitch is flowing 2 feet behind him.
Yeah,
That's
it
why I
is.
thought
It-
of.
oh, it
That's
is.
why I thought of Happy Gilmore. Was there? Isn't
Yeah,
there
she
a thing in
wears
there?
it, not him.
No, she's wearing lingerie.
No, she
Doesn't
does
matter.
have something on it. Actually, no, Shooter McGavin has it. And
That's
she
right.
takes
Shooter
it off
McGavin,
of him.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, and she's
and
also wearing
that
all white.
fucking thing has little people.
Oh,
Shared universe. You
they
hear it
saw
here,
this.
folks.
Well, because
Rock
up,
hard
up,
Gilmores.
up until like what 5 years ago, if you saw a little person, it meant comedy.
Yeah, and this movie will do so to remind you
Yes.
with the soundtrack.
There's some random couple that we get introduced to here, and the girl ends up
Arnold?
being annoying. It's Arnold and girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They don't say her name. She says his name a lot.
that's the only reason I fucking know it, dude.
And basically, I think they just had sex or something, or it didn't work.
they're
He
trying.
couldn't get it up.
He's trying to
'Cause
have
he's
sex
like,
with
no,
her.
no, it was as good as the first time.
No. He's talking about no. It was only one time. I will never be with another woman again.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I still think Derek had that. It was as good as the first time, but she is neurotic about him being
Super
with
neurotic.
anybody else. Don't look
Yeah.
at a girl. I want to progress this relationship, but if I find you with another girl,
I'm gonna kill you.
I'm gonna kill you. She doesn't get a chance though.
Phil Findacaro, Mickey, they're like making out, whatever, and he sneaks up on them. Arnold goes to see what's going on, what the noise is, and he cuts his head off and throws it at her, and she's just like, Arnold, are you okay?
Yeah.
To the head.
What have you done to you, my baby?
And this man is a very tall man, and
Yeah.
all she's got this guy heads pressed to her bosom.
Her bosom, yeah, that's how I'd like to go.
I'll remember that. I'll let her know.
And then we cut away. There's a cutaway that happens a couple times here, and we'll talk about it, to Bucky, the little mutant guy, this is the beginning of my favorite part of the movie. It's him sitting in the attic, it looks like, and his hand
Or a
is on the
restaurant?
table, and he's putting mustard on his own hand.
No, I can tell you it's not a restaurant because there's Nazi flags behind him. This is
Okay.
the family dining room table.
There you
They
go.
exclusively serve bratwurst.
Knott's worse.
Ed just starts eating his
He
hand.
starts eating his own hand with mustard, and you're
And then
like,
cut
okay.
to another scene.
Derek had said this is my favorite thing in cinema, and I'm like, this is pretty good, right? No knocking it. It's pretty good. Not my favorite thing in cinema, but this fucking thing escalates.
It escalates. Should we just do that so we don't have to keep cutting back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So throughout the rest of the movie, we cut back to this guy. So he's eating his own hand here, and later on he's eating his foot, and we cut back.
sprinkling salt or sugar, whatever. He's
Some
seasoning,
white substance.
or cocaine. He's seasoning himself.
And then we cut back, and it's supposed to be like half of his body, like he ate himself down, and he's starting to eat his own chest. And then the very last, well, not the very last scene of the movie, but the very last, one of the last shots.
It's
like the
his
second to
last scene.
shot,
It's his last scene.
is just his head sitting on a table, and he starts chewing on his lip, and his skin starts going into his mouth, and he sucks all of the flesh off of his own head and eats it, and it's just a bloody skull sitting there, and it like burps.
Yep.
And now I agree with Derek.
Yes.
This is a phenomenal cinematic moment.
it was
Fucking
beautiful.
gorgeous looking. Like,
Yeah.
Beekler got it done again.
Yes, he did.
Like, he does a lot of garbage movies, but he's the one who's adding the spice.
yes,
Yeah.
he is.
he's
Cacio Pepe.
He's the emerald. Bam.
I was gonna
Kick it
just
up a
say
notch.
that. I was just gonna say it was kicking over.
Like this movie, if it didn't have his effects, would have been trash.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we heard in the behind the scenes they shot it in like 17 days.
17 or 18 days is absurd.
And with all this makeup and stuff, so some of the makeup doesn't look great, but you're trying to apply zombie makeup to people every day in that short of a schedule. You know, it is what it is.
Dude, I've had relationships that lasted longer than 17 days.
I should hope so.
Wait, am I doing it wrong?
Not for you.
And then we go to like the townsfolk, and there's this guy who in the subtitles just says intellectual, who is reading some kind of book.
The handbook for the recently deceased, I think, is what he found.
But he's reading this book, and he gets from the book that apparently ghouls hate heads. The way Satan hates the church.
What?
Okay. And
What's this fucking book, dude?
So his idea is, and we'll just go through all
Make
these
giant
individual
heads.
storylines because
Yes.
it's weird to go back.
This
and
is
forth.
all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
The idea is to hide behind cardboard cutouts and pictures of these past
These
intellectuals.
celebrity heads.
But they're not intellectuals.
And
You
the
got
best-
Marilyn Monroe. You got John Wayne. You got John Lennon. You got
Elvis.
You have
James Dean, I think, was in there.
James
James
Dean
Dean
was
definitely
in
in there.
Hendrix was in
Hendrix.
Like, you're talking about famous people that we're not going to knock. Intellectuals? Jimi Hendrix is known for a couple things. It's not being smart.
The weirdest thing about it to me though was they were
there.
like, we have
Musically intellectual.
these head cutouts. That's not good enough. Let's use this yarn
What
to
the
put
fuck is with
weird
the
colored
yarn?
hair on them. And then there's an old lady who's getting mad about it. She's like, "You're wasting wool."
Oh, and Derek pointed out, like, for a fucking town that hates rock and roll so much, you got a lot of cardboard cutouts of
Right?
famous people that did rock and roll or other sexually explicit things. Like,
Yes.
this town would hate Marilyn Monroe, right?
1,000%.
You'd have to.
And so the idea
They would love John Wayne though.
That's a fact.
The idea is if they hide behind, well, especially in The Conqueror, if they
Best
hide
Genghis Khan ever. I loved him in Genghis Khan. Great portrayal.
I think it's the most realistic. Their idea is if they hide behind these cutouts, then the zombies won't see them because they don't like heads, which it turns out these zombies don't like heads.
Yeah.
Because later on in the movie, the street is littered with heads.
Yeah, but it went the wrong way.
Yeah,
They
but-
hate heads. Yeah.
I do like though he sends these people out, and this girl in the group is like, "Aren't you coming with us?"
This
And
is the girl that was very sexually aroused by
Oh,
the
yeah.
sexual
Okay.
talk.
And she's like, "Aren't you coming with us?" And he's like, "I want you guys to do the pilot program. I'll stay here and keep working." Because he's like, "This ain't gonna work."
As some sort of like, what do you say, like supervisoral
Yeah.
yada jargon, yada yada.
And the one girl goes out first, and nobody attacks her. So she's like, "You
It's
guys,
safe."
it works." So they all start going out. One lady falls over, and the zombies see her, so they start attacking her. And then she's like, "They know about us. They know." And everybody just gets consumed.
us out.
Everybody turns into a zombie.
And then the next scene is fucking dope because it's the intellectual open the door and he sees these big giant facade heads and he's like, "Oh my god, it worked!" And he runs out into the hallways like,
Which, by the way, how
yeah.
did he get to whatever room they just went to?
No, it's the same room that they went into.
Well, they were going out to.
And then the ghouls put the heads on and then went back to them.
I'm going to explain it real quick. Comedy.
I got it.
But it opens. It's them, all the ghouls, and they drop their fucking heads,
And
he
he's
realizes
surrounded.
he's fucked, and he gets eaten. It's awesome.
The first one I did notice is Red, who is crouched down because he's too tall.
He has to crouch down.
Well, yeah, he slowly lowers it, and the guy's like, "Well, fuck."
Oh,
He's not lowering it. He's just standing up.
yeah, the fake head stays right where it was.
Yep.
And then it's like a Looney Tunes cartoon. They take the heads down, and you just see the intellectual guy look at him, and he goes, "Mother."
He holds up a sign that just says, "Welp."
Yes. There you go, punching shit up again.
I'll try.
Ron got
That's
to
my
the room with
ex-girlfriend.
them at one point by pretending to be a zombie.
Yes.
He sees zombies and he goes, "Mrrr," and they're just like, "Oh, it's one of us."
It's the move.
And they start
us.
eating somebody else, and he's not eating, and they all just look at him like,
Hey,
"You're not hungry?" And he's like, "Okay." So
what's
he goes
wrong?
down.
You don't want breakfast?
They start tearing chunks out of this person, and he starts throwing up, and so they know it's him. So I had to mention that because
I'm a
Yeah.
real person.
no, it
It's a
does
smooth
kind of come
move.
back.
It's a smooth move.
It comes back towards the end too. Phil Fondacaro's in his own adventure. He
With a cow.
he attacks a cow
The cow doesn't give a shit.
by riding it. He jumps on its back and starts biting it.
Can
and then,
he not like bite it? Is that what's going
No,
on?
I think just like the film you got, the cow doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
starts biting into it, and the cow's just like,
Cow
"Mrrr."
literally rolls its eyes at the camera.
If they had their way, this cow would have been in distress, like, "Oh no, I'm being bitten, y'all." But it turned out the cow was like, "I don't fucking care about a little person on my back."
And then another
Move
side story
on.
is the girl with the head with Arnold's head.
Uh-huh.
So the head got thrown because Phil Fondacaro took it from her, but then was like, "Gross head," and he threw it.
Landed
Back
in
in
landed in a,
Cadillac.
and it landed in a car. Turns out it landed in
A
this
grocery
lady and her
bag.
kids' shopping bags. And the girl is like, "Hey, Mom, why is this bag so heavy? What'd you buy?" And she's saying something about like, "Your dad said not to buy sirloins. It's too
If
expensive."
it's over this price, yada
and
yada.
she dumps it out, and the head falls out. And the little girl just picks it up and gives it to her mom. And she's like, "Yeah, but how much did this cost?" The mom starts just juggling it. She doesn't drop it or run. She's juggling it until the girlfriend shows up, and then she throws it to her. And the lady's like, "Get your hands off my man! Get your damn hands off her!"
How dare you fondle Arnold like that?
Well, now this lady needs a fucking phone call, but the shopping lady will not let her in,
No, because I just waxed my floors.
and that head is fucking dripping.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
She,
I'm
she
so
puts
sorry.
it down. She's like, "Sorry, what was I thinking?"
And then
the
the
little
lady's
girl,
like-
"Goodbye, Arnold."
Yeah.
and launches his head out of this movie.
I know.
Kind of.
But then the lady is just like, "It's okay. Come on in."
Yeah. Now that you have that head out of your hands.
Through all of this, through all these disparate things that we're talking about, there's always a cut back to blonde zombie Elsa just dancing in the middle of town.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
pepper it in a lot more than we're talking about it because we're
Literally,
just
like,
moving on
15
from
So
it.
basically, everything
Yeah.
we say at the end of a sentence, dancing.
Yep.
She was dancing with herself.
Uh-oh.
So then at the concert, Mattson, I think his name, the agent, he's like, "This is great. These guys are going to be the next big thing."
This is the best thing he's ever fucking seen.
he
Cancel
calls
Paramount, cancel London, cancel everything.
My favorite thing though is he calls his lawyer. He's like, "Get me 4 Class A contracts," and he stops and he goes, "I don't care if you're in jail. You're always in jail. You're my lawyer. You get me these contracts." And I'm just like, "You might need a new lawyer, dude."
Or else I'm gonna get you out of jail where the fucking the mafia,
syndicate.
the syndicate can get to you. What is happening right now?
Hollywood.
I mean, what is happening right now?
So now everything starts to coalesce.
I thought the Hitler in this movie was the weirdest thing.
Now everything starts to coalesce except for Bucky eating himself. That's its own thing. But now the blonde shows up at the concert and she starts dancing on stage.
And she's doing some wicked dancing.
I mean, it's impressive dancing. I wouldn't say it's good because it looks stupid to me, but at the time it was probably great.
Oh,
She's-
this
I
whole
also
time,
can't dance.
She's
so-
super sexy this whole movie.
this whole time that they've been performing, Cassie is hiding behind a seat watching them perform.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just keep
she's-
cutting back to her sitting entirely still.
in a black, like, it's black on black kind of.
And
You
Cassie-
just see her eyes between the two seats.
Elsa's makeup is a lot like the band's makeup, where it's just
Yes.
like blue with some kind of design.
Sharp
whereas all the
lines.
rest of the zombies have like goopy stuff and whatever.
Yeah,
so
she's like ghoul superior. I don't know.
Well, she was pure.
True.
She's blonde.
True.
She shows up at
has blue eye
the
makeup.
concert. And then all the other zombies start showing up at the concert, walking out on stage, but they end up attacking the agent.
Well, so the show gets over, and the band is just fucking doing their little marchy march 1 and 2 and to the van, and the agent's out there. He's like, no, you gotta fucking sign this. It's $500,000 just to sign. Why won't any of you say anything right now?
Yeah.
And
You're never gonna play here again.
They get in the van, and he starts screaming. He's like, you're fucking done in this town.
You're done in this town. Yeah, so is everyone, dude.
Yeah, this town is done. But it's one of the zombies grabs him. He's like, hey, watch the suit, turkey.
And he gets consumed. There is still one side storyline because the people in the basement are still there, the ones who didn't get eaten.
Oh, yeah.
So they're in the basement. One of the guys who is the wizard from earlier, he's like, oh, that guy was wrong. Turns out we need to sacrifice a virgin.
A what?
A virgin.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know what virgin is?
He doesn't know what a virgin is.
I don't know virgin.
A virgin?
Oh, a
yes, that's what I say.
virgin.
Virgin. I get it.
The joke works so much better the second time.
But they have to sacrifice a virgin so that the zombies can fuck her and then eat her.
And it has to be at midnight under a moon.
And this buys you those 100 years.
Yeah.
So it's somebody else's problem is what this old dude says.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's not
basically,
going to stop it. It's just that, like, I'm done.
let's find the youngest, purest girl in this town. Let these zombies gang rape her and murder her. And then in 100 years, someone else can deal with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So Cassie does end up getting to the bunker.
like global warming.
For her. She walks in. I think Ron helps her get there because, like, whatever. They walk in and everybody turns to her immediately and is like, yes. Because there is an older lady in this bunker and she's like the only woman there. And they all turn. They're like, where are we going to find a virgin? And they look at her.
Don't look at me.
Yeah.
She's 106, dude. She had sex at least 3 times.
So then Ron has left and he goes back to the venue and he's trying to talk to Mattson because I don't think he knows that the band played. Because he's like, I'm sorry they're not
does
here.
not know.
Yeah, I guess.
Although he
guess
does seem to know
wouldn't.
that they're zombies in 10 minutes, but whatever. This movie. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, the problem is they're all dead, but maybe we can still work out a deal.
This scene is a great monologue.
This is good. And I really actually am kind of disappointed to learn that Ron, the actor, Ted Wells, also directed the scene and blocked the scene because I didn't like him too much either. He wasn't a condescending asshole like the other guy.
Nobody's like that guy.
But he is still like one of those guys that's like, this stupid thing. It's so silly.
So the director
lame
wanted a
also.
one shot or something like that.
Yeah,
that
he wanted
took more
only
work.
a master.
And this guy said, well, do you want your biggest actor to walk off set? No, then do it my way. Kind of a shitty thing to do. But I don't know.
Also, I'm almost 100% sure that's not how that went down because he would have been like, you want me to walk off? And the guy would have been like, whatever.
I'll write you off this fucking movie
Yeah, I'll
right
get somebody
now.
to eat a different
Guess
dude
what?
from behind.
Hitler killed you.
Yep,
Done.
you're
I'm sorry. I just said I'll get another dude to eat someone from behind. And I just did not realize what I was saying. And it reminded me of a joke earlier when they were doing the autographs. And a girl bends over to have him sign her butt. And he's like, hey, make sure the O's in the middle.
Oh, that's where it always is.
I guess for Holy Moses.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he arrives. He's talking to Mattson. Yeah, like you said, it's good because he doesn't realize Mattson's a zombie. But yeah, so he's doing this thing where he's like pacing back and forth and talking, and Mattson keeps trying to grab him, and as soon as he reaches for him, he'll like just step right out of the way, whatever. It's pretty good.
It's blocked well.
It is. It really
shot
is.
well.
He does have a line at some point because he says something, and then the zombie grunts, and he's like, "Whoa, don't bite my head off."
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
And then like
he's gonna try.
he gets in a chokehold but gets out of it and he's like, you suck! And everybody in the city knows you suck.
This is right after, by the way, his speech is him buttering this guy up. Like, I've looked up to you my whole life.
Yep.
You're my idol. You're the reason I'm trying to do what I'm doing. And then like, yeah, you suck. And everybody knows you suck.
And runs away.
So the townsfolk take Cassie out to the creepiest tree in the middle of the desert.
Sure, every fucking ancient town has creepy tree at the top of the hill.
Yeah, ours is right over there.
Sure.
And they tie her up to the tree and she's like, hey, what you doing? I don't like this. Like, she's not fighting back. She's just like, no.
Having a bad time, no.
I think her dad was the one tying her to the tree too.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
He seems like that kind of guy.
Yes. And
No, he's
that's
not
why
a
I was like, are you
zombie.
sure she's pure? He's a zombie
No,
because
the people tying her to the tree aren't. There's
No,
people
the-
trying
yeah,
to
the
stop
people
her
trying
as
to-
a zombie.
then no.
Her
Then
dad
daddy
might
wasn't.
try to be part of the gangbang.
yeah,
which makes it
her
worse.
dad is part
Oh,
of the
God.
gangbang.
How'd you make a zombie orgy worse, dude?
Just like that.
Just like that, you flip that switch.
So Ron now goes back to their goes to their graves, and he's like begging them to come back. So that's why I'm like, does he not know, or does he know that they're zombies?
No, he knows. It's the Eagles. He's like, I need one more comeback tour. I know you said goodbye. I know you're in the ground,
Kiss.
but
No,
please, one more show.
He's like, I have the ring you gave to Cassie, and
that's what finally gets
Jesse's
Jesse's hand
pops
out
out.
of the dirt.
And it was the Green Lantern ring.
it was.
Yep, and he turns and he starts flying, and he makes like a boat out of green light. They're on land. I don't know why it's a boat.
It's a skyboat.
Skyboat.
It's a skyboat. We call those airplanes. Go on.
The spruce goose. So then the zombies start showing up at the tree, and Zombie Hitler is the funniest of this whole group.
Yeah.
Because they're all doing like dogs humping something in the air while they're walking toward her. But as you could hear Whitney doing in the background.
This will be the weirdest thing I ever said, but he gives you thick, dirty old man tongue.
Yes, it's
I don't think that's the weirdest thing you've said.
it's not.
No.
It's in the top 400.
It's in the top.
Man, I must talk a lot.
I mean, this is
It's
our
almost like you do a podcast.
this is like our 70-somethingth episode. I don't know.
Is it? Damn.
Yeah.
Good for us. Good for you. Good for you, even.
They're all like coming up on her, and she's like, "Hey, don't fucking leave me here! What the fuck?" And then you start hearing Dominus Nectus Caminus in the background, and I guess it calls the zombies to it.
Yep. Question
Yeah.
mark.
Even
Yep.
though it's the song that raised the band, it's now, I don't know, like
calling the
fucking-
dead to him.
I
Yeah.
guess
don't
maybe
know.
because it calls the dead from the grave, so it also calls the undead.
Sure.
To their grave.
So they're standing outside of this cave/bomb shelter doing a concert. Yeah, all the zombies come up and they lead the zombies into the cave, while at the same time, the zombie starts coming up to Cassie. And I was like, wow, that's a bad mask. Like there's some makeup in this that is not good. But
The
what
ghoul
the
masks
fuck?
aren't great, but this is like, that's a
This
very
one was
blatant
terrible.
gorilla mask.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yes.
even look like it's like a gorilla
I
with
thought
really
it was
sharp teeth.
I thought it was the
like-
werewolf lady's mask.
Yeah, but
By
then
the variation of it, it's a prototype.
that's before they put the hair on. They shot this scene first, and then it takes the
She's
mask
freaking
off,
out.
and it's Ron.
Yeah.
and he's like, no, because it's him doing the thing from earlier, but he's like, with the face, it's fine.
Shut up, bitch. I'm trying to save you.
Yeah, so he's taking her off the tree, and she's like, thank you. Where's Jesse?
Well, okay, he's dead. He's around, but he's fucking dead. I'm not. I saved you. I'm alive. I have a pulse. Why don't you love me?
So then
Aw, did you-
Subtext.
Did you feel that?
No. I'd feel worse if she was attracted to me.
they lead all the zombies into the gas chamber, and we see Rob and Cassie go into the cave right after, and I'm like, that's stupid.
Why
But
are you doing this?
they're following him in to close the door.
Yeah.
And then Rob goes out and turns on the gas, and the zombies start dying brutally.
Piss and
some of
puss
them-
and puss and
Piss and puss and
piss.
puss and piss
Piss
and
and
puss and
puss
piss
And
and
most of them are
piss.
like, oh, we put some blood on you, whatever. But they do
One.
save the one really good kill for the person who deserves it, Hitler.
Yes.
Hitler gets his face melted off like
Yep.
fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Uh-huh.
And he's screaming, and it's awesome. The band and for some reason Elsa
Freeze frame?
just get to like fall asleep.
And I don't mean freeze frame. I mean like Madame Tussauds wax museum version of you dying.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't
she
even
like
fall
has
over.
one leg wrapped over the guitarist. And,
One arm over the whole
and
band. Like
she's just laying. They're
she's
holding
basically
her up.
kind of splayed across the whole band.
Yes. And they're beautifully intact.
It's a great shot. It just makes zero sense.
Zero.
Well, and at the end of this movie, I'm like, did any of this matter? We'll get there in just a second.
Yes.
So Cassie is at Jesse's grave, and she's like, I'll never love anyone but you. I'll love you forever. And I'm like, well, that's sad because you're like 15.
yeah, you gotta move on, girl.
He's dead. And she's saying
too
some
old
shit,
for you.
whatever. And then his hand pops out of the grave, and she like holds it. And I'm like, wait, so they're still alive? So,
When they're
they're
needed
still
to be.
undead?
Yeah, I don't know.
And he gives her the ring back. That's what
But
he's
it's just
doing.
like, so are the zombies dead or not?
I don't know.
The zombies are never dead, dude.
The zombies whose faces melted don't get to come back. So
Yeah.
Hitler's,
That's the end of the
Hitler's
movie.
dead.
I think he can come back.
Okay.
Because A, he's the hottest.
Oh, because that's the power
and
of
B,
love.
that's the power of love.
And that's the end of the movie.
You boys are just too darn loud. Yes, that is the end of the movie.
I don't want to start this one.
So, Jack, recommendations?
Fuck. All right. So I don't like musicals I think most people listening know that.
Except Miami Connection and Voyage of the Rock Aliens are like 2 of your favorite movies.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
I do recommend this. I do recommend this for the reason it's fun as fuck. There's only one person in this movie I don't like, and that is the sheriff. Everybody else,
and that might be hindsight too.
might be. Ron, is that the agent's name?
Yeah.
Is acting his fucking balls off. These musicians are really fun
Yes,
to
they
watch.
are.
Like,
Yeah.
Homegirl, Elsa is super sexy. The twist threw me for a fucking loop. I was not ready for, but I was happy to be on. So yeah, I do recommend it. It's not like a full one. Guess what, dude? We got Jack Petty's caveats. Beer and friends make this movie better.
Yes, and I am jumping on that wagon with you. I actually do recommend this as long as you have beer and friends with you. Or not, doesn't have to be beer. Drinking and friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were about an hour in when I was like, I probably should have done this earlier. Anybody want a drink?
Yes.
But I'm really glad I didn't watch this alone. Like
Yeah.
this, I could have easally found this, I'm sure, and streamed it and just watched it.
I watched it alone.
Yeah, imagine
Well,
you.
yes,
He was
but-
alone on shrooms.
That actually makes all the sense.
So that I finished this movie that first time, and I was just like, what a fucking trip. And then watching it a week later, I still really enjoyed it. I'm going to recommend it too. It's a fever dream. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel cohesive.
Nope.
It doesn't have a plot insofar as we know a movie to be, but it's so much fun to watch, probably with friends, unless you're weird like me, and definitely with drinking.
If
or
you are
some
weird
kind of
like him, make
substances.
friends with him.
But-
It also makes me want to watch the other movie that this is supposed to be in.
Yeah, it's partnered with a movie. Oh, the one it's in, American Drive-In. Okay, I don't
Yeah.
know. I have no idea what that's about. The description literally says the goings-on of a drive-in theater.
Now I want to see
So
it.
I don't know.
Dude, somebody didn't talk about this movie has a line where the guy says, "You're neat."
Yep.
Oh, God, I forgot about your
He-
neat.
EJ hates this line.
He should. This is the worst line.
He's the most embarrassed about this line.
He hates sand.
He's leaning. He's leaning out the window. This is better than I hate saying.
It is, but not by much, but it is.
He's leaning
No
out
Star
the window.
Wars.
He's leaning out the window of the jail talking to Cassie, and he's like, "You're neat."
It's so awkward. And even in the fucking little thing we watched, the guy's like, "A rock and roller would never say that."
Yeah,
and the
the
director's like,
director-
"No, it's cute. It's like, no, it's 1950s.
He could have said, "You're a cool cat.
You're dope. You're hip.
In
You're
the 80s,
jive.
You're a cool cat." Is
You're-
what,
there's a thousand
Any other
things.
decade.
Yeah, there's a thousand. You're neat.
go fuck yourself.
What is she, a fucking like project you to paint?
But you know what the great thing about that line is? Huge laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad it's in there because we had a huge, amazing laugh at that.
Yes,
and
we
the
really
entire room.
But yeah, so
All
I think it's
three of us.
It's a recommendation all around,
Your
but
dogs
not,
are laughing.
not in the sense of this is a good movie. It's barely a movie.
This is not a good movie.
No,
this
this
was
is
fun.
1,000% a fever dream, like husband
yeah,
is saying.
it's barely a movie.
Yep.
I just pulled up Letterboxd. I'm going to give you guys one review because it's the first one that came up, and it starts out where I think it's going to be fun. I'll cut it if not. 0.5 star. Reviewed just a couple of months ago. This movie is crazy. It straddles the line between entertaining and obnoxious. Unfortunately, more obnoxious than anything else.
Boo.
And it made for an endurance test. The music is far from what I would call hard rock. It's got a weird doo-wop pop vibe being lip-synced by a third-rate hair band.
Doo-wop.
Oh,
I think that's the what was the first song? It is
Shake
very
It Off.
50s. Shake It Off. Yeah, shake it out.
Yes, it is. Okay, so that one is kind of 50s with a lot of 80s charm and
kind of like
and
rockabilly rock.
closer to that
Yeah.
than fucking doo-wop.
Yeah.
And here's a 5-star one. First person I found, Cheshire Rat.
Okay.
5 stars and a heart. Whoa, Cassie's underage bro. What are you doing? Otherwise, perfect movie, brilliant movie. Take this, America.
We did.
So
We
I
fucking took it.
I was able to squeeze 2 in there because the first 2 happened to be decent.
Yeah.
But next week is April. Well, next month is April, but next week's when it starts. And in April, a movie that I personally am very excited for, and I don't know if anybody else in here cares, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire is coming out.
Okay.
So I'm going to force my co-host here to watch a massive amount of kaiju movies, starting with next week's episode, 1998's Godzilla, starring Inspector Gadget,
No.
Matthew Broderick.
featuring music by Puff Daddy and Robert
Page.
Plant or Jimmy Plant.
Jimmy
Plant?
Page.
Jimmy
Page.
Jimmy, what are you
Page.
talking about?
Page.
What is that with the golden god of rock and roll? It's about Jimmy fucking Page.
Jimmy Page. Sorry, Robert Page. Jimmy Plant.
Carried you to the limit one more time.
Yeah, I have not seen this movie.
They also
since
use the
I
Led
saw it in
Zeppelin song a
theaters.
lot.
Well, the Led
That's-
Zeppelin song.
Yeah.
that
It's
song.
Cashmere's the Led Zeppelin
Cashmere
song.
is the song.
And it's Puff Daddy
Puff
doing
Daddy stole-
come with me now or something.
Yeah, I don't. Puff Daddy took the music and made a song. It's not the Led Zeppelin
Okay.
song.
Yeah.
That's
But
why
I
it
do
said
believe
featuring him, even though he's never.
Because
in it.
I worked in a theater when this came out, I think Jimmy Page is in the music video.
Yeah,
For the Puff
Jimmy
Daddy.
Page. So Jimmy Page played guitar for it and stuff,
Right.
but it's literally just playing music he already played.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's barely
Puff
part of
Daddy
it.
can't fucking produce.
Yeah, because everything he did was a ripoff of someone else. And I mean, hip hop is a lot of sampling, but that's not a sample. Next week, we will be doing 1998's Godzilla, one of the worst monster movies ever made, and that's saying a lot.
That's saying something.
Don't forget to check out our Patreon, which is now live, and you have a couple episodes available to you exclusively to Patreon members. It's only $3 a month. It's patreon.com/worstpeople, WORSE, just like on the top of the page that you're listening to this on.
You know we got to drink to watch this, so give us some beer money.
I don't have to, but it helps. Have you heard my recommendations?
Our Patreon episode for next month is going to be 2014's Godzilla, the much better one. It's not the
Can't
best.
wait.
It's not the best, but I didn't want to go back and do the original.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that's a good one.
Also, the best one is not on DVD yet.
4K.
Oh,
Blu-ray.
-1.
-1 might be my favorite.
Haven't seen it.
Ugh.
So good. Are the episodes we have available so far for you guys? Our February episode was The Quick and the Dead. For March, we did Princess Bride, which was hard for Jack.
Yeah, I have some trauma about it. It's fine. I'll get over it.
But we've got this one coming out with the newer Godzilla from 2014, and we have at least one episode every month. We have some other stuff in the works, so check that out. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast. At least rate it, depending on what your service allows, because it helps people find us. Check out badmoviesworstpeople.com. You can get links to all of our shit, our YouTube page, our Patreon, our merchandise. Find us on Facebook, Instagram. I don't do Twitter anymore because I hate it. We are on TikTok.
It's done with you.
So Bad Movies, Worst People on Facebook and Instagram, BMWP Podcast on TikTok. Thank you to Evasion for providing our opening and closing music. As always, you can find them on SoundCloud, Spotify, etc. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. I have been Derek.
I'm still Whitney.
I'm neat.
Good night and go eat yourself. Oh, it hurt a fidget with my vagina. Wait, scratch that.
You can
reverse
get a
it.
good look at a fidget if you stick your head up a butcher's vagina. Wait, it's got to be your vagina.
Love you guys.
Anyway.
So Hitler